Hello, everybody. How are we doing? My goodness, it is so good to be back. Just going to wait for the chat to load up, but my goodness, what a journey I have been on the past month. I think it has been since December 8th. It was like the Game Awards last time I made an upload. And yeah, it has literally been 2 months. I'm going to explain what exactly has gone down, but just for those who are aware or who aren't aware, basically, my channel got hacked by like an Elon Musk account. I have no idea what really happened. I'll give the full story and some context in a minute. Just checking that you can all hear me and that this is all going live accordingly. Good to see you all. Oh my goodness, so many of you already. How are we doing on Saturday? Is it the 4th of February? Literally, it's been like 2 months since I made my last upload. Like at the Game Awards, like oh my goodness, missed you all so much. Like we haven't talked about Dragon Age in so long, and there's been so much to talk about. Congrats on getting the channel back. Thank you so much, Ayoko. Hello, Black Sheep. Hello, Lucas. Hello, so many of you. Evelyn, Jessica Tate, Lynn. Hello, Jack T. How are we all doing? Right, so please don't judge me, but basically what happened was it was like basically early January, and I got an email. It was about 1 a.m. And, you know, I've got my own, like, Jackdaw personal email, and anybody can send me business inquiries. It's what it's intended for, like sponsorships, what have you. And anyway, I probably shouldn't have been looking at my emails at 1 a.m., but I was. And it's because I got, like, this copyright infringement claim, and it looked genuine and legit, at least at 1 a.m. when I was shattered. And so I decided to go on this email, click on the link, and it turned out that it was actually like a key finder, where it basically grabbed all of my Chrome password keys and it changed it locked me out of my Google account straight away. And at 1 a.m. on a Friday, when I was super tired, there was nothing I could do, and nothing immediately happened. I tried to go on my two-factor authentication, I tried to change a bunch of things, and essentially nothing happened. And on that Saturday, genuinely, nothing happened to my account. It seemed okay. And then on Sunday in the afternoon, I got a notification saying that my channel had gone live with some sort of Elon Musk NFT microtransaction live stream. And I went, oh my Lord, what has happened? And Jackdaw didn't exist. I think the account was changed to like Tesla Live or something like that. And it was just completely overridden. Oh my goodness, thank you, Midnight Dreary, for becoming a member. Thank you. But yeah, so then obviously, you see Elon Musk live stream on an account that has associations with Dragon Age, and you couldn't really see that it was Dragon Age unless people went on the community section. And then what happened was I lost a bunch of subscribers, as you can imagine, because nobody wants a bot account or to, you know, support Elon Musk and his microtransaction schemes. And I was like, oh, what the heck? And then nothing I could do. Again, I contacted YouTube straight away. Or I forgot to mention, I contacted YouTube straight away as soon as I got the emails and I clicked on those links. I was like, YouTube, please do something. Please, my account's been compromised. And they were like, we are doing something. We'll get back to you when it's next working day. It being Friday, 1 a.m. my time, they couldn't do anything until the next Monday. And by that point, obviously, the account was hijacked. Anyway, what happened the next day, on that Tuesday, was the account entirely was suspended because it had breached copyright and it had breached YouTube guidelines, probably because it's Elon Musk talking about NFTs and whatever. I didn't watch the live stream. I was too humiliated to watch it. I kind of just tweeted about it. Again, continued to contact YouTube and YouTube DMs and Twitter DMs, and they're really good, honestly. They're really quick to get back at you and reply, and they do make a conscientious effort. And so yes, we contacted YouTube. The Tuesday, the entire account was taken down. Guidelines were breached or whatever they talked about in that stream. And my account was just effectively nulled. All the videos were privatized. I thought they were deleted, and I was like, all my life's work is gone. No, they were just unlisted or privatized. The hacker had just gone into that. And then, that thinking that was the end of it, thinking, oh, well, you know, on that Tuesday, thinking, well, the account's taken down. I'm not losing subscribers. It's going to be okay. On Thursday, because I was an idiot and didn't change all of my passwords, I thought I did, but I forgot to change Discord, and then they hacked into my Discord, and they then did some sort of NFT scheme, and they went through every single chat DM and every single server I was in with some sort of NFT message trying to promote some sort of NFT bullshit, whatever, which was also just as embarrassing, especially because I've got a lot of, you know, fellow Dragon Age fans on there and my own channel. Yeah, it was just like, wow. I think the plus side to that was I actually was able to message people I haven't talked to in ages. I've been in my Discord DMs for like 3 years. I was like, oh, hi, how you doing? Like, sorry, my channel, this is a hacked message, but also, hope you're doing well. So at least there was that. But yeah, effectively, YouTube were like, promise you, Jack, we've got it under control. It's okay. We know your channel. We've got it. And it took them until Saturday last week until eventually Creator Studio got in touch and said, yep, your account's been hacked. I also have like a spare separate music account. Thank you so much, Midnight Dreary, for gifting memberships. Oh my goodness, thank you. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, I'm still talking about the situation, but thank you so much. What was I saying? Discord hacked. Channel, yeah. So on last Saturday, literally a week ago, they were like, yep, Creator Support finally got in touch. But I have a music account, which is just daft music videos. Like if, you know, I go see bands and I'll just record it and put them up. And that one was back up. And I was like, how come that one's back up before Jackdaw? Anyway, the Creator Studio had to actually go through an extra thing because this account was particularly hacked and because of it having to secure who I was and securing that I was Jackdaw indeed. But yes, finally, I think it was last Sunday or Monday last week. I think it was Monday, yeah. I got the channel back. And honestly, I'm just so excited that all the videos are still here. Also, I've got my Antivan Crow shirt on. You can't see. Yeah, we are supporting the Antivan Crows today. But, like, I was just so glad that all my videos weren't deleted and that actually it was back. And I'd only lost 700 subscribers, which in the grand scheme of things, seeing a bot account and seeing it support, like, Elon Musk, I would imagine, like, loads of people have unsubscribed. But because the account was taken off pretty quickly, yeah, I didn't lose that many. But honestly, it is just such a relief to just be able to be like, right, my account's okay, everything is fine. Back end, things are okay in terms of like, you know, the video titles, the monetization, the settings stuff. None of that was touched. It was just a guy goofing around with some Elon Musk videos. Yeah, they have a backup. And the thing is, they could prove that I was genuine. The concept was very important to YouTube. Exactly, lovely blood. Exactly. But because they could authenticate that it was me and I wasn't the one doing it to break the guidelines, they were able to pull it all back up and everything was sorted. But yeah, just a massive sigh of relief because I know how much Dragon Age content kind of has happened. Not in terms of Dreadwolf, but obviously we had Absolution in December, and then we've got The Missing, which I have a physical copy right here. You know, we've had so much stuff that it just has been away. But to compensate for my lack of absence today, we are going through... I planned on, as many of you know, who are like, I don't want to say hardcore viewers, but people who just genuinely watch my videos, every December, I always do, oh yeah, my Instagram account is back too, thank you Jack T, yeah, that's back, that was just a little small thing, they got through that, but that was kicked immediately. But every single, oh no wonder I haven't heard from you in a bit, had no clue what all happened, yeah, Newts, it was chaotic, but every December I always do like a massive roundup of everything we know about Dragon Age Dreadwolf so far, and I never got to do that this year just because we had the Game Awards and I went on holiday at a certain time, and then I got hacked. And I was like, well, you know what, I'll just do it in January, before I obviously got hacked. I was like, I'll do it in January, I'll just do it start of the year, we'll just go out with a bang in the new year and just do a massive, bigger video. And because we got hacked, I just haven't had the time to actually do it. So today, I am treating you all to an even bigger, specialer, everything we know about Dragon Age Dreadwolf so far in 2022. And we're actually going to full on, holistically and very specifically go over just every single news update up to today's date. And we can also just go back, talk about whatever kind of just goes with the flow. But we've already got so much to talk about in terms of last year. What's going on with this leak, as many of you have already been talking about. Mac Walters, Hans Zimmer, The Missing, Absolution, so many things. So this is just going to be a massive welcome back, just a massive, you know, thank you all just for the support and just sending me your lovely messages and just, you know, just really caring about the fact that, you know, my channel had Missing and all that stuff. So this is just going to be a proper, long, fun, talking about whatever you want to talk about in terms of Dragon Age Dreadwolf's development live stream. You know, if you want to throw any questions in, I'm happy to answer as many questions as we've all got. You know, we've got so much to talk about. And also, like, I'm probably just going to go in and talk about this new stuff first, but what we'll do is after every month, because I've categorized everything into every month, we're going to then just summarize, and then we can start kind of going into questions if you have any. I'm going to read a few comments, and then we're going to get straight into this because I have so much content for you all planned. So many channels got hacked the exact same way. I've heard that too, Hegs and Kind. Like, it happened to so many other people, which I appreciate because it meant that my channel was going to come back. But it was just, yeah, it was worrying, but also I appreciate the fact that it was a similar hack, so YouTube kind of knew that I wasn't doing it deliberately, or that, you know, they knew how to sort it out. Hello, Baron. How are you doing? Thank you so much for your support, Baron. Really, really, really appreciate just the messages and the support you've been and just retweeting my stuff. Thank you so much, dude. Really, really appreciate it, man. I hope you're doing well. I know that you're seeing Taylor Swift in Massachusetts soon, aren't you? I am like so jealous of that. But I hope that you have an amazing time when you see her. Are you seeing her when Phoebe Bridgers supports? If you are, again, massively jealous, but I hope you have an amazing time. And when you do, Baron, please take pictures, please. She isn't touring in the UK just yet, and I'm so envious of Americans who get to see her literally in a couple of weeks. Disappointed by the missing. I was expecting more Deep Road scrutinous. Oh, Bill, I haven't actually read it yet because I've been so swamped with re-downloading things. Oh, I also had to wipe my computer, which is why this has even taken longer. Like, I wanted to stream on Wednesday when I got my channel back on Monday, Tuesday, whatever. But I had to download all my assets, get Premiere Pro back, Adobe, Audacity, Focusrite, set all this stuff up, get all the things back. And so I was like, oh, flipping heck. Like, I really want to stream and get back into talking to you all and proving that I'm back. But also, like, there's so many things that I just need to set up that I was like, oh, flipping heck, I didn't realize how much that I need to do. But I had to wipe my computer completely. I know, like, my friends were like, you probably don't need to do that because if it's a viewfinder hack, you'll be all right. It'll just be a Chrome thing. But just in case, you should do it. And I did it just because, you don't want to mess around with things like that. I have to go. Can you please leave this live up? Alison, yes, this will be saved as a VOD so that everybody who is coming and going, different time zones, whatever, should be able to watch this and also just be able to skip to the necessary points. How do you feel about the article yesterday? We will touch on that very soon, Lynn. I don't know if we should come back to it towards the end or if we just jump straight into it. How about vote? Guys, would you rather we talk about this leak right now or we talk about it after we go through everything that's happened in 2022? Would really, really appreciate like what you guys would like to see, because I want to go by whatever you guys want, because I know that's like hot at the moment, but again, if we go over all the previous insights, we can maybe build up towards it. What else are you all saying? Do you think your Inquisitor will be in Dragon Age Dreadwolf? I hope so. King Hacker, I hope so. Doing well, man, and yeah, heading on my girlfriend to see Taylor soon. I'll be there to shoot her, take pics. I've seen her before because I worked with her a few days. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Oh, that's amazing, Baron. Mint. Yeah, please take pictures and either put them on Twitter or send them to me. I'd love to see it. Hey, Skirian, how you doing? Now, okay, oh wow, okay, everybody is voting. Right. Now, after leak now. Everybody wants the leak now. Okay, right, we're going to talk about the leak right now, folks. Everybody's spoken. I can see that. So, for those who don't know, let me pull up this leak. We have a Dragon Age Dreadwolf leak. Now, let's first of all just preface, this is a leak, and it is not confirmed. Remember we talked about that Dragon Age Retribution leak back in 2017? Obviously, that was clearly a leak, and even at the time, we were all taking the mick with that. But that, everybody kind of takes too much on a leak. The thing about this particular leak, which, yes, take it with a grain of salt because it's not from BioWare, it's not confirmed, nobody from EA is saying any of this. A lot of industry insiders do follow this account, and they do actually trust. Let me give you the source. What is the source? It's Inside Gaming. And so Tom Henderson, who had leaked that Dragon Age Dreadwolf was going to be called Dreadwolf, literally before like we got that trailer or that live stream, whatever the blog that they released, he said that it's going to be called Dreadwolf. So Tom Henderson is a trusted insider. He clearly knows, is a credible source. And so if he trusts this source, I'm kind of trusting it a little bit, Again, take it with a grain of salt, but, anyway. So for those who don't know, this happened last night. I am still thinking I'm going to make a video on this, going over it just in tiny detail and just so everybody can be fully updated. But I'm going to read all this out and then we can talk all about it. So, Inside Gaming sources who have spoken to Insider Gaming under the request of anonymity have said that Dragon Age Dreadwolf might be further away than previous rumours have suggested. The development of Dreadwolf began in 2015 and has seen significant changes over its 8-year development, but EA is still yet to issue a release date for the title. Previous rumours have suggested the game could release in 2023, but this information provided to Inside Gaming suggests that the date could be rather optimistic. Okay. Sources have said knowledge of the game and its progress have said that the game still lacks features, completed character lines, and still contains the remnants of the game's past, which abruptly which abruptly changed direction in early 2021. According to Jason Schreier, Bloomberg, Dragon Age Dreadwolf pivoted from its planned multiplayer component to a single-player experience. Two sources have revealed that some of those multiplayer components are still, quote, sensed to some degree in the current build of the game, with one source saying, the game felt a bit like Destiny, with a central hub where players could probably regroup before heading into the next mission. The game hub, though, will still play a vital role in Dreadwolf in its single-player format. I know these pop-ups are awful, aren't they? Like, no. Dope. There we go. Where are we? Dreadwolf follows a similar gameplay loop to its predecessors, which will involve recruiting and growing your crew, whom you'll encounter by completing missions. Your recruited crew will populate your hub, where you can give them different pieces of equipment and modifications as you progress throughout the game. It's understood that you'll be able to move from your hub. Sorry, I know the ads are annoying. It's understood that you'll be able to move from your hub to missions by passing through a mirrored portal. I wonder what that could be. Again, that's also kind of like a lore plot point that I know lots of us want to talk about. But we'll get to that again. As for combat, one source who recently played the game suggested that it was more akin to a hack and slash compared to past games, and the game's combat wheel is similar to that in Final Fantasy XV. As for your crew, it was said that you currently cannot control them and only select the abilities that they can cast in combat. As for when Dreadwolf will release, it's anyone's guess, but missing voice lines and placeholder text likely suggests it's a bit further back than originally rumoured. No actual date from the sources were given to Inside Gaming, but we wouldn't be surprised if the game releases in 2024. Okay, so before we talk all about that, let's pinpoint each point specifically. So the first one that I wanted to talk about was the fact that... Where was it? Yeah, so this one. So this to me is probably one of the biggest takeaways. The fact that the game is still lacking features, which is fine. It's in the alpha phase anyway. It's going through like the general. Well, the thing is, we were told that the production phase was when they add all the overall content together, and that's kind of where the wiring is all there. They just need to test it and stage it. But this right here says that it still lacks features and character lines, and also has this massive remnant of its multiplayer direction. Now, we'll touch on that in a second, but if the game's still lacking features, I am no game developer. I don't know what goes into each stage, but they literally said, Gary McKay literally said that the game already has all of its features, and if it's an alpha, it's testing those features out. So I don't know why it wouldn't have all of its features and now it's got lacking features. I don't know the concept behind that, but it doesn't sound like it's in the alpha phase if that is true. I'm not too sure. But this here, this sounds like that this single player rework or this single player pivot that happened in 2021 that at the time was very, very good news. I feel like we need a tinfoil hat emoji. We do need a tinfoil hat emoji, but I'll tell you what, I'll put my tinfoil hat on. There we go. I feel like this was a soft reboot. The more I hear about the single player pivot and the longer it takes for BioWare to show us gameplay and the longer it takes for them to kind of anticipate news and tell us they're going to show us something and tell us they're going to show us something, I feel like the single player pivot has been a soft reboot, that it's been a lot more work than originally intended, and that maybe that a lot of the game has been built on strong multiplayer components that they didn't realize how much it's going to take, or it's just got a lot of resources of this multiplayer element that they haven't been able to take all of it out, or it's just a bigger mammoth of a job than they've actually realized. And so I honestly think that this was a soft reboot. I think that it's taken more time than they've realized to fully rework it into a single player game, and that's absolutely fine if that's the case. It's just, why would they constantly advocate for showing us information and telling us about the game instead of just getting on with the game and actually continuing its development? Don't constantly reiterate that they're going to show us something if you're not ready to show something. We can, sorry, I'm just reading the chat. We can wait for as long as possible, but if you guys, if the folks at BioWare keep on telling us you're going to hear something soon, that constantly builds a false expectation and false anticipation for something that we're not going to get, and that's what gets us annoyed and angry and gets us, from our clowning to okay, when are we going to see this game? Because, as much as we respect and we respect the development team, they need to stop telling us that they're going to show us something if they're not ready to show us something. Like, it's okay if they want to go complete silence and just continue to create Dragon Age Dreadwolf and let us know closer to the time when they've got something to show, like Bethesda do. And yes, obviously Starfield has been delayed, but even so, Starfield's apparently coming out, what, in the next 5 months, and we're going to get a full-on reveal of that game very soon. And then it's going to be like, right, game's ready, go play it. Whereas BioWare, since 2018, they showed us the Dreadwolf Rises, tiny little trailer tease, if you want to call it that. And then 2020, Game Awards trailer. And also we had the behind-the-scenes, Gamescom stuff. And then also we had the EA Play kind of snippets of environmental shots, which isn't much, but still. And then since then, 2 years, we hear about the single-player pivot. Nothing about the game is still shown. And then we got that, that key cinematic that just reiterates that Varric's in the game, that Solas is going to have a huge part in the game, and also the Dreadwolf is seemingly going to be the full-on antagonist, anti-hero, whatever. And that's absolutely fine, but it's just reiterating the same information we've known for the past 3 years. So it's like, why are they doing that if they've got nothing to show? Like they don't need to do that. They can just ignore it. They could just, continue to ensure development of this game. But it feels like a bit of mixed signals. Like they were going to show something off in 2021 or 2022, and actually it seems like there's been a pivot of development. But they're still trying to manage things and create blogs and articles and social media content. So for me, it rubs me the wrong way a little bit as somebody who is avidly so excited for this game and is looking at every single piece of news, but it's just the same thing. So I do feel like this single player reboot has been a pivot. The single player pivot has been a reboot, a soft reboot, and maybe at the time. Thank you so much, Sully, for the super chat. Thank you. Welcome back. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. It feels so good to be back, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. I completely respect it if it's a reboot. I apologize if I'm going in circles now, but my entire point is I respect it if it's a pivot, if it's a reboot, and they need to take more time. But they don't need to constantly reiterate things. They can just not. I don't know. I don't know the inner workings of BioWare. I don't know what's going on with their marketing teams and how they cross-wire. And maybe they need to market something, but they've probably got the funding, they probably paid for the community management, they probably paid for the marketers, they have a job to do, and they probably need to get to work on something. I understand that side of marketing because I'm in a marketing agency myself, but at the same time, they're not really giving us anything, and they're just reiterating the same things, when that time could be spent elsewhere. So yeah, I think that's a huge thing. And we'll get into this when I talk about all the content and the news that we got in 2022, but that probably explains the lack of Dragon Age, Dreadwolf, New Year updates, because in the past, BioWare have given us a blog straight away into the new year, and they haven't done that so far. So I think they're just trying to remain quiet until they can give us a significant update, which I appreciate, but yeah, it's complicated. Before we move on, what are your thoughts on that? Let me read some comments. I have a major sense of doom over this. The studio needs to be communicating beyond the continued loss of talent we keep hearing about. That's a good point, Aaron. We need more than leaks that are very pivotal. Lynn, yep. I mean, it's nice they've been trying to show us their process, but it's time to put up or shut up. Jessica, you know what? Yeah, I agree. Really appreciate everybody liking the stream to beat the algorithm. Thank you guys so much. Stuff takes time. It does. And I appreciate that. But, if it takes time, they should just let it take time instead of actually trying to. And I get it. The thing is, I'm not saying this out of place of malintent. I'm saying it as somebody who loves it when BioWare say anything. Obviously, all you folks know that every time BioWare tweets, it's so exciting for me to just make a video on it. But also at the same time, I would rather they save that for the big stuff. I would rather, as somebody who is just so excited to hear from them, I'd rather that they savor that for actually, right guys, we've actually got a significant blog here, we've got something to talk about here, as opposed to just the little bits, I don't know. I feel like I've already reiterated my point a fair bit. Let's move on. What's I really saying? I was so optimistic for last year's Game Awards and so positive they would give us something, and they left me like a clown. Same, honestly, I think everybody kind of, even insiders, what's he called? I'll get his name. There was the insider last year who was like, yeah, we're going to see Dragon Age Dreadwolf quite easily at the Game Awards. If not, early marketing is going to happen in 2023. And that hasn't happened yet. Was it Thingy Grubb? Jeff Grubb. Jeff Grubb was like, yep, Oh, thank you so much, Lady Ashara. for being a member. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Jeff Grubb was like, we're going to see earnest marketing of Dreadwolf, and it's expected to release no time earlier than 2023 to 2024. So to be fair, he's just kind of, that's still in line with what he's saying. But yeah. Other thoughts people have? Honestly, just glad to hear you are just frustrated. So the rest of us, it's been forever, and these little drops aren't doing it, actually making it feel worse. Thank you, Evelyn. Yeah, like that's the point I'm trying to hone in. I'm not trying to be like overly negative. I'm just trying to call it out as it is, really. Okay, so we'll move on. This, to me, is another red flag. Again, also, this is a leak. Like, this isn't confirmed. This is all just a leak that we're talking about right now. But Dragon Age being referred to Destiny is not a good sign. That's exactly what happened to Anthem. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, not a good sign. And again, this just proves the idea that the multiplayer components are still sensed to some degree. Now, this is what I think is something that a lot of us, and I've just seen a lot of like YouTubers in general talk about this. When Dreadwolf comes out, a lot of people are going to be looking for those live service elements and the multiplayer stuff that was originally supposed to be removed. But because the game has seemingly been concepted and produced as a multiplayer game, there are going to be a lot of those elements that are integral to the game's resources, to its systems, and to the degree here, like its current build of the game. Like, we've got a hub here that was probably originally intended for like some sort of multiplayer gathering place, like Fort Tarsis and Anthem, you know? And that, it depends how they're going to work it. It's going to be like looking at games like Anthem and like Avengers and games. I think Avengers is the best example. There was another one, but I can't remember. But Avengers is going to be the best example because that game was originally created as a live service game, multiplayer game. But then it was somehow reworked into a single player game. But when you play that game, it still feels like it is a live service multiplayer game, that it was made for live service multiplayer. And so I think for Dreadwolf, a lot of us are going to be looking for those flaws, those kind of inherent multiplayer features that shouldn't really be in a single player game. And that sounds like it's still an issue. Well, that currently is still an issue for Dragon Age Dreadwolf. It seems here like, you know, this hub is something that they just have to kind of use the resources they've currently got, and they're going to go for it. Now, and again, to be play devil's advocate, Dragon Age has always had a central hub. It's fine, you know, where players always regroup. It's where we meet our companions. So to be honest, I think it's just the phrase Destiny, and maybe the leak, maybe the insider here is just trying to clickbait. Maybe they are trying to kind of pull some sort of, I don't know, some sort of hook or get you feeling a certain way about it. But I think if you remove the word Destiny there, it sounds fine. The game the game has a central hub where players can regroup before heading into the next mission. This will still play a vital role in Dreadwolf's single-player format. That sounds fine. It's just that word right there makes me think of Anthem, makes me think of Avengers, makes me think of live service. But at the end of the day, the game is apparently still in development. So this is still in the works. They're still reworking it. So it's okay. Like, yeah, it sounds bad, but you know, they're still reworking on it. So yeah, initially don't like that word, but we can look over it because Dragon Age always has hubs. And look at Skyhold. Like, Skyhold's an amazing hub. Moving on from that, Dreadwolf apparently is going to follow similar gameplay loops to its predecessors: recruiting and growing your crew, completing missions, populate your hub. Again, populate Skyhold, populate. You don't really populate your camp, really. Well, you populate it with followers, don't you? You give them different pieces of equipment and modifications. Yep, that's exactly what we do in Inquisition. And it's understood that you'll be passing through a mirrored portal. Obviously, this is Illuvian, so we assume the thing is, lore-wise, doesn't matter mechanic-wise, because we did it in Trespasser and it was fantastic. But how are we going to do that if Solas has taken over the Illuvian network? Well, I'm sure there'll be some sort of workaround. Maybe one of the first missions is to literally take it back, take some network back. Who knows? But I think game design-wise, gameplay overrules lore. So they'll probably just find some way to nip that in the bud and be like, well, you can pass through this undetected, or you can pass through this system because you've taken over it, or Felisan has helped you take over it. Something like that. There'll be some lore way that they bring that in. But I like this idea, to be honest, because it's just Trespasser, and it trimmed out the open worldness of Inquisition, which I do enjoy to some extent, but overall, I would prefer a sort of non-linear or linear with freedom approach as opposed to a full-on open world or like a hub-based open world like the Hinterlands, you know, the Hissing Wastes. I would prefer to go, okay, here's my main hub, take that to a world where I've got quests here, fair bit of decent content, a little bit of exploration, but also I'm doing a main mission here, and I've got some companions to talk to, characters, quests, and then go from there back to the hub. I like that idea. Now, the only thing I don't like about it is if it was originally built for multiplayer and they kind of have that open world there to compensate for multiplayer content. But again, we're not talking about that, and we're not fixating on that just yet. But that to me sounds great. That sounds fun. So I'm a fan of that. And then combat. Okay, this is where I don't really have much knowledge on Final Fantasy 15. So for chat, please let me know what they kind of mean by a combat wheel similar to Final Fantasy 15, because I would like to know what that really entails. Is that kind of like Final Fantasy 15 is the single player one, isn't it? With where you have the car and all the lads going out into I don't know what the combat wheel is like. What is it like, chat? Anybody played Final Fantasy 15? So hack and slash, we kind of presumed that a little bit from the Gamescom little snippets of gameplay that we saw where the Grey One character kind of had their dagger and their sword and they were jabbing forward, and it had a really fun camera. I like the third person pulled back camera. That was good. But what about tactics? Because it sounds here like tactics isn't in it. And as we've just explored in multiple videos, like tactics was really helpful for accessibility, for certain issues of the game that people were able to like amend. Just being able to pause the game, put Solas over here, think about your attacks, and also helpful for like nightmare playthroughs. So can we still pause the game? Is obviously, is that going to be a feature? Who knows? Again, this is a leak, not fully confirmed, but still interesting to talk about. Anybody play? So Final Fantasy 15, was it turn-based? I feel like Final Fantasy 15 wasn't turn-based. Combat will be significantly faster than DAI. That is definitely true if it's hack and slash. You choose your weapon through the wheel. Okay. I never used tactics, to be fair. Yeah, I didn't use it unless I was on a harder difficulty, but I've just heard that it is helpful for accessibility. I like the mounts. Yeah, the mounts were fun. These ads are annoying, honestly. What do we think, folks? If anybody's played Final Fantasy 15, please let me know what this means, because I don't really know, and we can always research it, to be honest, but it doesn't sound like an issue to me. Now this one, I think this is also just a development one. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter go crazy about this one. I don't think we need to worry about this one just yet. Let's at least give BioWare the due diligence. And as for the crew, it was said that you currently cannot control them and only select the ability they can cast in combat. Now that is literally like what Mass Effect Andromeda, kind of like Mass Effect. It is the trilogy as a whole. I don't know if BioWare would remove the ability to play as our crew members. I don't know if they would do that. I feel like that would be a very ballsy kind of... It'd be a ballsy move. And I hope they don't do it, because I think a vital part of Dragon Age has been to be able to actually play as your other companions. So it just says you currently cannot control them. Doesn't mean that we won't be able to control them in the game. It just means that according to this leak, that does have some trustworthy insiders, we currently cannot play them in the game. Whatever that means to the actual game, we don't know, but I feel like we're probably going to be able to play as our crew members in the game. It's Dragon Age. It's an iconic Dragon Age feature. It's been in there since the first one. We'll see. Maybe they've got a reason to justify it. I don't know. We're gonna find out. What is chat saying? I know a lot of people who are not good at hack and slash, so they like DAO and DAI, and I have to agree with wanting DAI combat again with improvements. Yeah, I enjoyed Inquisition's gameplay, to be honest, and just tactics has been helpful just to pause the game and just to actually think strategically about things. And it was also a great way to kind of merge, the isometric style of RPGs like Baldur's Gate, Pillars of Eternity, and also those third-person RPGs, melding the two together. It was really good. So, but it just depends if BioWare want to continue to do that, I suppose. They've probably got the stats on tactics. I'm sure they can make their best informed decision. But yeah, I enjoyed it, to be honest. Wasn't that hot on it. Wouldn't mind if it was removed for me personally. But yeah, we'll see. When I think of hack and slash, I think of like God of War. That gameplay is really, really fun. But I don't really think of Dragon Age when I think of hack and slash. But I don't know. I'm sure they'll have justified reasons for why they would make these gameplay decisions. I would hope. Will there be Gwent? Good question. Anyway, final paragraph that we'll talk about on this inside leak. As to when Dragon Age Dreadwolf release, it is anyone's guess. Yep, for sure. But missing voice lines and placeholder text likely suggests it's a bit further back than originally rumoured. And the thing is, it wasn't rumoured that the game was entering its alpha stage and that production had wrapped up. Like, that wasn't a rumour. Like, that was actually confirmed by Guy McKay that we're going to go over in just a hot second. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, we've been told by the development team it's in production stages, and then we're being told by insiders that the game actually isn't further away than it was initially or originally, like, intended. So, like, what's going on? You know? The way that it was going with Gary McKay's reports, like, it sounded like Dragon Age Dreadwolf was going to release this year. Like, we were all hands on. We're going to see something at the Game Awards. We're going to get some gameplay, or at least a release window trailer with a bigger, a cinematic trailer, whatever. And the game's going to come in November, October this year. But now it would seem that actually, according to these leaks and reports that we should take with a grain of salt, Dragon Age Dreadwolf isn't going to be coming out this year, or it's still going through a tumultuous time with its development, or it's still reworking a lot of things. I don't want to say tumultuous time. I don't want to insert words like that. But, it's been in development for 8 years with multiple reboots, reworks. It would be the appropriate word to use, I would say, So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, to summarize on this conversation, Dragon Age Dreadwolf is probably going to come out spring 2024. I feel like the fact that BioWare have been particularly silent, and on Dragon Age Day we only got a key cinematic that is still a work in progress, I think that this report probably has some truth to it, just with BioWare's silence, You would think that if marketing was to begin in its earnest this year and BioWare were to build up to it, they would have started it by now, maybe? I don't know. And we'll go over that now in a minute, because in 2022, that's what you could kind of read the tea leaves. So any thoughts of this before we move over to talking about everything we know about Dragon Age Dreadwolf in 2022? Let's have a look. Maybe Dad is a slideshow of murals, and that's why they keep showing us murals instead of gameplay. Darkness, no. Oh no. The original reboot to make it multiplayer was such a huge and predictable mistake. Luke, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Like, yeah. Such a mistake. I originally think that Dragon Age 4 was supposed to come out in 2020. I think that, like, originally, with Joplin, the game would have been in development for 2015. That team would have released Anthem initially in 2018, but then delayed in 2019. But if we went with the initial, like, say, Anthem came out in 2018, Dragon Age 4 wasn't delayed, and it didn't have its team pivoted, I think it honestly would have probably came out in 2020 originally. That's what... Anthem comes out in 2018, and they spend 2 years of dedicated production time. Game comes out in 2020. 5-year development cycle. Whereas now, obviously, reboot happens in 2017, and now... I think 2017 or 2018, can't remember, one of the years, and now and it spends like 2 years or a year in pre-production, and then the team finally start production during the pandemic in 2020, and now it sounds like it's gone for another reboot with the single player rework. It's gone through quite a tumultuous time. So, yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts? Anybody has? What have we got? My conspiracy theory is that they are tricking us, and we'll have a real trailer at E3 with release date for right after the last missing installment in September. That'd be amazing. Rachel, that would be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I'd love that to be the case. Absolutely. Like, I would love it if BioWare did take like a Bethesda approach to marketing, where it's like, okay, massive reveal, game comes out in 3 months, but I just don't think that they're that inclined. I think that they know their fan base too well, and that their fan base, i.e. me and all of us here, gets so rampant and excited and want to know every single detail. They like letting us know that it's in the works, and they do like letting us know what's occurring, what's going on with development. But I think they've just done it, and unfortunately to say, because obviously at the time in 2018 we were all so excited, but I think they've just done it too early. But apparently Mark Darrah said that the reason they did that in 2018 was to prove to EA that Dragon Age isn't dead and to build some hype and anticipation. So it's because of fans like us and content and channels like mine that EA can see how much Dragon Age means to people and that they don't cancel this project. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it sounds like it's going through a hard time. But let's go over to 2022's information. So just for those who've joined... welcome. It's good to be back. Originally this year, originally end of last year, I was going to make my massive everything we know about Dragon Age Dreadwolf in that year video, but channel got hacked, went on holiday, and a bunch of other things happened. So instead, we are going to go over every single piece of information that happened last year in full detail, and we can all talk about it and throw our inputs and just have fun, random, spontaneous conversations about anything. If you've got any questions also, throw them down. I'd appreciate if they were on topic, just so we can really hone into specific conversations about specific things. But I also don't mind, at the end again, we can also talk about whatever, whether it be the missing, absolution, whatever. But, okay, so this is where I'm going to get more video-y and down to Jack just talking a lot. And I've got a script here, I'm not going to read that out, but just picking out key things and just going with it. So if you appreciate my rambles and going and just fully looking at the things, this is where it begins. So let me get rid of these tabs and stuff. Right. So start of last year, BioWare kind of started the year pretty strong with literally 6th of January 2022, state of BioWare and looking ahead. And this is kind of where I'm like, now this leak is now valid because BioWare haven't done this yet. And it seems to be the case that they actually do start the year off with a brand new blog, what we can expect for the year, what's going down at BioWare, a keynote from the general manager, what's going on with our projects, you know? And they haven't done that this year, which is just leads me to believe that BioWare are being silent about certain things. And that's kind of why when leaks happen, you know, when BioWare are really quiet and it's like, actually, Mac Walters has left the team. Actually, this leak by insiders seems to be the case, you know, things like that. So, I don't know, it just adds credence to the idea that maybe BioWare are going through it. Maybe they're being quiet for a reason. I don't know. But, yeah, let's plow on. So, I'm not going to bore you with every single reading the entire blog out, but the essential TLDRs for this, were the fact that the studio remains hard at work on the next iterations of Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Gary has actually seen incredible work from both teams, and if you're curious about Mass Effect, you could check out that previous trailer that they released the year prior on N7 Day. Apparently there are a handful of treats in it, and there are at least 5 surprises that point to the future of Mass Effect. As for Dragon Age, BioWare has a veteran group of talented developers who are working on the next iteration, and they are very much focused on a single-player experience that is built on choices that matter. That being the key takeaway from this blog. I think just the big thing here was the fact that, you know, BioWare, they can't wait to share more about their games in due time, and they're just excited to share more in the future, and they're excited they're excited about what they're working on. And so that kind of didn't indicate that they're going to show something off, but, you know, we can't wait for you to see what we've been working on and look forward to sharing more in the future. Until then, thanks for being a part of our story. Now, also at this time, which feels like it was ages ago, but it was just before let me get the link up. It was just before Matthew Goldman was, oh, thank you so much, Midnight Dreary, for the memberships. Oh my goodness, thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It was around this time that Matthew Goldman stopped working at BioWare. I think that was end of November 2021. And so a lot of us were like, okay, what's going on? They haven't touched on the creative director, but they did say, well, Gary McKay did say that he believes they've got the right team at the moment going forward for the next game. Kind of not really alluding to, but touching on the fact that they didn't feel like Goldman was doing what they wanted, wasn't following their creative vision. Don't really know. Don't want to build up any kind of allures or illusions, but it seemed like he was indicating the fact that they have the right team going forward. Now let's pick up the next piece. Yeah, so I wrote here, Gary believed that they have the right creative focus and the right support from EA to deliver on their promise. Without saying it, it feels like this is a statement on Matthew Goldman and his recent exit as creative director of Dragon Age 4. And to be fair, we actually haven't heard anything from Goldman since. I haven't checked his LinkedIn. But yeah, like we don't know why he left. Might be a question to ask Mark Darrett on one of his streams, but I doubt he knows either. Maybe he's checked in. But who knows? Who knows? Yeah. So, yeah, and then kind of like at that point, it was still like, okay, so Goldman's left. BioWare have told us that like they're excited about the new year and they're excited to show us more. They've got plans. And then we got actually a really good article from Jeff Grubb. And he said that Dragon Age 4 is actually in a very good shape and it has a potential release window. To get to the point, let me get the actual article up here so you can all see. There we go. Oh, nothing found. He has archived the article. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Let me just get a better one. I could show you my massive Dragon Age document, but it might crash the stream. I'll show it actually. So this is where I collect news for Dragon Age. If we just do this. This is everything that I know, only me, about a Dragon Age so far. And I kind of use my Discord more for it now, just because it's quicker and easier. But this is everything we know about Dragon Age Dreadwolf's development. You know, with links going over things. So we're looking for, and this is exactly what I'm going over, why, you know, looking for this. Christian, okay, so Christian Daly's departure. So it was around the same time that we heard that Dragon Age was actually in a good shape that Christian Daly announced that he was leaving the team. Let me just get this article up because I haven't had it linked. So here we go. Here we go. So we've got another source, but it's the same thing. And this was January 21st. Here we go. So, so yeah, there are no plans of Dragon Age releasing in 2022. We kind of knew that anyway, because the blog kind of said, "Oh yeah, like the game's coming out, but sorry, we're excited to we're excited to read more about the game, but you know, if it was going to release next year, you'd think that they would say something then, but it didn't." So organized. Thank you. Impressive document. Thank you so much. Yeah. So Jeff Grubb reassured fans that the fourth installment of the series remains in works at BioWare. Like, the update is the fact that Dragon Age is still in the works, but it's still more than a year away from release. And at that point in January 2022, he said that it was 18 months away, and so that meant I don't expect to see it a full year from now at the earliest, meaning 2023, early 2023. A summer release is earlier. So originally, Jeff Grubb thought that Dragon Age Dreadwolf was going to release potentially summer this year. That was somehow the intended release. Okay, so Griffius has an opinion on the leak, thinking it's rubbish. Absolutely fair opinion to have. And then he said that it's going to launch marketing campaigns in 2022. And it kind of did. We can look at those more in detail, but they kind of released marketing campaigns, but not to the full extent. Like, not what we'd want as marketing campaigns. They revealed, like, information on each developer and a lot of developers and their vision for the game and what Dragon Age means to them. And they revealed a few codex entries. But, you know, as when I think of a marketing campaign as somebody who works in a marketing agency, I feel like, you know, dedicated blogs on characters, information about the setting, information about the game, core mechanics, things like that. And obviously they haven't released that yet because we're not at that point. But when they do say they're going to release that, it indicates something else, in my opinion. Okay, So yeah, basically January we learned that Dragon Age is in development. It's in the works. BioWare kind of ramping up the fact that last year, they're excited to share more about the game in whatever case that meant. Okay. Next story we had from that was the fact that there was no remaster. Grubb also exclaimed that there are no plans for a remastered Dragon Age trilogy similar to what we got with Legendary Edition. So this doesn't... I know I need an ad blocker, you're right. Like Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which got obviously a full-on remastered treatment of all 3 Mass Effect games, we kind of all wanted a Dragon Age Legendary Edition, you know, Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, and Dragon Age Inquisition, fully ramped for the latest consoles, PC, really whatever. Jeff Grubb confirmed straight away we're not going to get that with Dragon Age Dragon Age Origins 2 and Inquisition. However, that doesn't mean that we might not get a Dragon Age Origins remaster. That's something that a lot of us really want. It's something that Mark Darrah has wanted to do when he worked at BioWare. It's something that just... they were hopeful for. And I've talked about it a lot on my channel, but a lot of the developers in time have been hopeful for that, but it's just never seemed to be the case. But yeah, we're not going to get a full-on Dragon Age trilogy remaster, but there is still hope for a single Dragon Age remaster. Maybe closer to the time, maybe we'll get an Origins remaster for Dragon Age Dreadwolf comes out. That will be super exciting to see, but who knows? Tagged you on Twitter with a link for even more recent leaks. Thank you, Hexenkind. I think we've already talked about one of them, but I will definitely check that out in a hot second. And then we had, what else we have? We had hirings. We had somebody hired from BioWare, which was great. And then, okay, this is where we get, this is where it gets real. We had Graham Scott leave BioWare. So, Graham Scott kind of just put on their LinkedIn. Thank you, Pedro, who sent me this. Graham Scott put that just after under 15 years, BioWare has been a huge part of my professional and personal life. I've raised my kids from toddlers to teenagers in that time, and just like them, I have grown in ways I could never predicted. Thank you to everybody who has been a part of my continued journey. Now, Graham Scott was a senior designer at BioWare, and after 15 years, decided to leave the team. Now, just after that, we also had Andrew Johnson leave the team at BioWare. Andrew Johnson tweeted, after 12 years, I'll put the tweet here. After 12 years, it was officially my last week at EA. So he was at EA, but he was also working like with, you know, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Star Wars. I have too many pictures, but here's a pic of me. I took an EA event. But yeah, again, after 12 years, Andrew decided to leave the team. And now we get to, I think this is the one that mentions Christian Daly's departure. Yep. Christian Daly decided to leave the team at BioWare. So that was like very similar to each other. 3 departures, quite similar. Also bearing in mind, Matthew Goldman had left the team in November 2021. So within, what, 3 months, that's 4 departures. So just take note of that. I'm not trying to build a certain narrative that way, but take note that that is pretty significant. But yeah, Christian Daly, leaving his executive producer role, decided to leave the team since working at BioWare in 2018. Been a big influence. And this is where kind of the Dragon Age leadership team changed. So I'm going to read this out because this is vitally important, because it also refers to another Dragon Age developer who was also recently left the team in 2023, or maybe even back end of last year, don't know, but we'll get to that towards the end. But yes, a strong leadership team of industry and Dragon Age veterans is in place to carry us through production and beyond. The game's production director is Mac Walters, who recently led the development for Mass Effect Ledger Edition and has 18-year history with BioWare. Corinne Bush, who has been leading the design and direction for Dragon Age, is our game director. She has a wealth of experience, including 15 years at EA, and a passion for the franchise. Benoit Houle is the director of product development, and he brings an in-depth understanding of the franchise, thanks to having worked on every single Dragon Age game, starting over 16 years on Dragon Age Origins. And then I, being Gary McKay, will be working more closely with Dragon Age team as they go through production, while continuing to guide the studio. And this is where they say, you will start to hear more from the Dragon Age team in form of blog and social content. So obviously they didn't say we're going to hear about the game. Let me just get a drink from my appropriate N7 mug. They didn't say that we're going to see the game or in terms of gameplay, trailers. They just said blogs and social content. But, you know, not to harp on about being in a marketing agency, but when I hear like blogs and social content, I think of like at least somewhat entertaining, fun content referring to the next game, not just being like what we got, which was fine, but it, like, I don't know. I'm a content writer. I work in, you know, the content part of my agency. Like, I think of exciting, fun things to do, and for me, it would be like creating articles and blogs on like the characters of the game, the setting of the game, mechanics of the game, you know, things like that. And I get it; they're gonna probably do that this year because of the expanded delay or whatever. But at this current point in development, thinking that the game was going to come out in 2023. We didn't really get what we wanted. Speaking openly and honestly about it, you know, like, we could have got a few more exciting things, I think. Anyway. Moving on. Yep, and then they talk about an next Mass Effect game, which, yep, we're all here for, but let's have Dragon Age before Mass Effect, right? I mean, it's fine that they're going to talk about them both at the same time, but we're all waiting for Dragon Age, and it's like, okay, well, don't forget, like, Mass Effect's also in the works too. Please don't romanticize Darkspawn. I don't need these images in my head. Jack T, where's that coming from? So yeah, that was the start. That's the first 2 months of 2022. And this is where we get actually an exciting update. And that being that the creative director position has been filled. And it's been filled by none other than John Epler, the perfect person for the job. So basically, yep, John Epler confirmed that he is indeed the creative director on Dragon Age. Thanks everybody. At the end of the day, I'm blessed, humbled. Just one person, really reason I can't to show you what we've been working up to. So yeah, really good positive update. I think David Gader also had something to say on that. Just saying that basically John Epler is one of the best persons to be working in this position. I also think that's a really good update because John Epler has been at BioWare for many, many, many years. I've talked about it a lot in recent videos, in videos last year. But yeah, John Epler started in Keyway, has been the narrative director on Trespasser and on Dragon Age for so long. But really, really, honestly, the perfect person to be the creative director. It's just, for me, like, really, really appreciate that. But I kind of still want to know what happened with Matthew Goldman. You know, it's just a bit shady. Not shady, but it's just a bit, like, ominous. You know what I mean? But yes, beloved John Epler, which was a really, like, a bump in the right direction. Because 4 departures straight away in the year, and that being the executive, that being all senior developers, quite red flaggy. Okay, and then we got just a small update, but we're going over every single update because that's what we do. That is what we do. We got
a new Arkham Asylum series based off the Batman is on the way.
It's about damn time.
No, did not want to watch that. Sorry, comicbook.com. We got an NPC patent that could be big for Mass Effect and Dragon Age. Where is the TLDR? So the new patent basically involved NPC behavior, NPCs with the ability of self-learning, which will permit NPCs to adapt to the decisions players are making. So for example, Renegade Paragon, precise scripting on behalf. Basically, it aims to make NPCs react not only to decisions players make over the course of story, but to players' playstyle as well. Rather than check if you made a certain decision to influence dialogue, the NPC would react to available data about the player and adapt on themselves. Basically, it just means really, really cool, better choices and consequences for Dragon Age based on our playstyle, not just key decisions we make, which will be vital and amazing for Dragon Age. Hey Jack, so glad to see you're back. Thank you so much, Zodorus. Thank you, really appreciate that. Yes, we are all back. Really, really, really appreciate that. Gotham Knights in Dreadwolf, I know, right? Literally. This is now a Batman channel. Oh, yeah. So, yes, right. So, yeah, that's honestly really good to hear. And then we had another senior developer leave BioWare. This was Alan Schumacher in April. So, we're in early 2022 still. End of an era for me. Today is my last day at BioWare. Was offered a very interesting opportunity at Epic Games. I think Alan Schumacher was, I think I've wrote it down. During Alan's tenure at BioWare, he spent a lot of his time on quality assurance team for Anthem and all the Dragon Age games, as well as working on the programming and engineering aspects of Andromeda. Yep, that's what Alan did, and he'd spent 13 years at BioWare. So another senior developer leaving BioWare. In May, according to my doc, nothing much really happened. And June is where we get the big vital information about Dragon Age, which you could say is probably what they were hyping towards in January, which actually you definitely can say that. And that is where we got the title for the next game. So Tom Henderson, who is related to the Inside Gamers article that we talked about before with that leak, he originally leaked the title for Dragon Age Dreadwolf for no reason whatsoever, probably just to prove that he's a credible leaker. But yeah, he literally tweeted Dreadwolf and he said, find out at like 6 p.m. GMT what I'm talking about. And that was the fact that the next Dragon Age is called Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Title's definitely grown on me now. I don't know, what do you fine folks think about the title? Happy to see you too, officially Jewish. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know, I'm okay with the title now. I think it's good. I'm accustomed to it. I just wish it referred to more than just the antagonist, but it could do. It could refer to like the cause of the Dreadwolf. I don't know. I think with Inquisition that it just refers to like the idea of like the army of the Inquisition, the Inquisitor as the player character, and the idea of heralding an Inquisition, the idea of reforming what was once long gone and building that again. Like, it refers to so many things. It's great. Whereas Dreadwolf, it just refers to the antagonist. And maybe the idea of the next game being about that antagonist and what they're going to do. Dunno. Thank you so much, Emily. How you doing? I like Dreadwolf. I like it. I don't like the name, neither that purple, to be honest. Oh, fair. I think I just have to accept it, Bill. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, it's grown on me. It's grown on me. I mean, we can't do anything about it. It's true. No, I just wanted to get an opinion on what people think about it and kind of what it refers to, if they have any implications about it too. But yeah, this was like, I think in hindsight, this is probably the biggest news update of last year, being the fact that we got the title. Yeah. Well, we can come back to that, but I think this is the biggest update. And, you know, we got the font, we got key art, we got, you know, the title, and then we got a little bit about who is Dreadwolf. Obviously, massive spoilers here for, like, fans who haven't played the game, or if you haven't played Trespasser and you're like, oh, I'm interested in Dragon Age, this new one, but I'm going to read this blog and see what it's about. Oh, actually, massive spoiler there. Again, like, what you expect, that's just their marketing right now. Like, that's like the only thing that they're going with for their marketing campaigns. Like, that being spoilers for the previous game. But they haven't got anything else to tell us, so that's what they're going with. Yeah, obviously talks about who the Dreadwolf is, what they're doing, their tricks of deity. And if you're new to Dragon Age, or you've experienced them all, using Solas's namesake no doubt suggests a spectrum of endless possibilities on where things may go. But at the core, every past game is you. If you're new to Dragon Age, you have no need to worry about having met our antagonist. Again, confirms that he is the antagonist. Just yet. He'll probably introduce himself when the time is right, but we did hint at his return when we announced Dreadwolf Rises back in 2018. I like the title. I'm glad you like it, Owl. I do like it. It's growing on me. I just would have preferred something like Eclipse. Like, that is more, you know, alluding and, you know. Thank you so much, Owl. How you doing? What are people saying in the chat? I like the title, but I'm still trying to understand why it's written all together instead of Dreadwolf. Me too. That's why I think, like, is it referring to, like, the Dreadwolf as, like, an organization? Are we going to be, like, an elven spy? Are we leading a Dreadwolf rebellion? Probably most definitely not. But, like, what does that mean? Or is it just... I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I like it, though. I do. Because I like the idea. I like this idea because I love Solas as a character. I love the Dreadwolf. I love the narrative direction. That's why I like it, because I am excited about, as they say, the spectrum of endless possibilities on where things may go. With Solas being the antagonist, that is so exciting for what could happen in Dragon Age Dreadwolf. But that's like the exciting part of what could happen. What's going to happen, we don't know, and we're just going to have to find out. And that's even more exciting. And then here, this is where me, and I think everybody else, got a bit aloofed. We suspect you have questions and they'll be answered in time. While the game won't be releasing this year, we're growing closer to that next adventure. Rest assured, Solas is placing his pieces on the board as we speak. That's all we have for now, but we hope knowing the official title has sparked some intrigue, as we'll be talking more about the game later this year. Now, yes, they only say they're going to talk more about the next game, but like, what? Come on, that alludes to like... That alludes to bigger blogs on Dreadwolf. That alludes to telling us more about the game. And they did that to, like, that degree. Not what this refers to. You know? Like, I'm not the only one that sees that, right? Is it just because I'm so, like, obsessed and, like, impatient? Or, like... You know, am I the only one that sees it like that? Or does it sound like here they're going to actually reveal a lot more in the form of a blog or in the form of a trailer or in the form of like a developer actually talking about the game on some sort of FAQ panel thing? Like, what do we think, folks? You know? Because to me, it sounds like developers coming out and doing like a development story trailer and being like, right, you know, in the next Dragon Age game, you are playing as the Tevinter Sakari agent, or you choose your origin, and you're facing against the Dreadwolf, who you've met in the previous game, and also we're taking you to Minrathis, and we're also going to potentially explore certain areas here, and also, like, you know, just a bit more insight about that. I don't know. They talked more about the mural. Lol. Thank you, Darkness. Thank you. Oh, Cameron, no. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm not alone. Thank you. I know, I'll take the screenshot too, official. I will. It's just this does, like, come on, more Dreadwolf later this year. And I get it, like, taking them literally, they did. But they know how desperate we are. Been watching the same mural trailer over and over again. Need something to hold on to. Exactly. Alicia Jones. I think they're planning on being at TGA and back. Oh, really? Really? Yeah. I think, and we can get towards this towards the end. I'm always jumping towards the end, but maybe when we get towards Mac Walters' departure in December, we can line up more of those dots. But yeah, I don't know. I'm glad to know that I'm not the only crazy one thinking that we weren't wrong to expect more, because it's literally a blog here saying more Dragon Age coming out this year. We play as Sutherland prompted adventures. Yeah, sure. Thank you, Leo Vulgar Cabello. Yeah, exactly. I would like to play Sutherland, actually. I would like to do that. That would be fun. Yeah. Let's move on to... So this was June 2nd, and then actually, a week later, we got the Dragon Age Absolution Netflix trailer, which is probably why BioWare decided to change the colour and the font of the Dragon Age game's title. Because originally it was that beautiful gold one, the one that I kind of inspired by for my channel art. That Dragon Age 4, you know, with this gold, beautiful, I don't know what you call it, graphic, you know. And it was all kind of regal, alluding to like Tevinter and Tiva with the gold colours. And then Absolution went full on gold as well. So then we got this kind of shattering ice with this neon purple, alluding to Minrathous, Tevinter. Probably suits the vibe that Tevinter's going for with its cyberpunky aesthetic. If I get a picture of that. Give me 2 seconds. That's Antiva. We assume it's Antiva at least. This one right here, like the new neon stuff, it suits it to a T. So maybe it's a change of art direction. Maybe they went, let's change that, you know. Or maybe it was Absolution that caused this change in titles. Doesn't matter. It is just me like tinfoiling it and looking at it like, you know, nitpicking. But no, I'm interested in that art direction change, because we know like Matthew Goldman was previously the art director of Inquisition. Did they change it because of his direction? Is that too much of a, you know, and then he became the creative director? Or is it just they just wanted to change it to go to suit whatever? And the breaking away of the ice, is that referring to like the breaking away of the veil, the breaking away of the elven gods from their what are they, their imprisonment? The Solas becoming the Dreadwolf? Or is it just supposed to refer to just shattering ice because the game's set in winter? I don't know. Like, could be anything. I like the gold and the black more. Let's actually have a look at that original title. Let me see if I've got it in my files. Give me 2 seconds. I should have it somewhere. I also, because I wiped my computer, I might not have it, but I should have it. That was 2020. That was at the Game Awards trailer. We don't have it currently. Let's keep on looking for it. Let's have a look. I'll check my OneDrive quickly as well. Okay, I should have it in here. Yes, we do have it. Here we go. So this was the old one. There you go. You can see the I don't know if you can see the spectrum as much as I can, but yeah, they've gone from this one to a different one, and I like this one a lot. It just that regal tone, but maybe the new one has more implications about it. I don't know. Are there any interesting leaks in the missing? I don't think so. I don't know. Let me just read the chat. So, true. Pride is purple, and also the electricity is purple too. Yes, that's good. Oh yeah, like in the in Absolution when we saw memory, literally a wisdom spirit as well as pride. duh, 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 duh. All his gold and Goldman leaves to take the gold with him. The truth is out there. Leo, I didn't mean it like that, but you know, spot on. Spot on. Maybe it's broken stone. Yes, I think it's ice, so people actually say it could be stone. Also equally true. Maybe it's just a change of the art style's direction. Maybe because the game is going through so many reworks, they're still just changing things. Maybe because they've shown things early, they regret showing things early and they change it. It's a work of its time. It's a work in progress. Maybe, there are so many reasons. Redeem and cook the egg. Eggy boy. Maybe the gold was referencing the TV show before they were talking about it. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so they've changed the title and we've got this one now. I like it. It does look good. It's probably suiting to Vinter more. And again, as we said, purple, spirits, demons, pride, wisdom, potentially. So let me check now what updates we have in June. John Epler tweeted, really excited we got to announce this today. There's lots of ideas to come and working with this amazing team has been the most incredible and rewarding experience of my 15 years in game dev. Can't wait to show you what we're all been up to and what's next. Mark Darrah then said that there was a rejected Dragon Age 4 title for real, sort of, that being Dragon Age Manrathus Knights, also abbreviated to DAM. Now, at the time I was like, ooh, does this refer to the fact that the game's set in Manrathus, and most likely, or is it kind of just damn, they're being funny because it makes DAMN as an acronym. Not too sure, but I feel like there's probably aspects of the truth in both. And this is when I will get the tweet. Jeff Grubb came out and said something. Jeff Grubb, who we do trust, Insider said, Dragon Age Dreadwolf is still more than a year away, but here is its name. So confirming, yep, it's still more than a year away, and that was June 2nd. So that means bare minimum 2023 June. And now we know that's probably not true, but again, it still could be the case if we don't know. And then Pedro asked, do you know when exactly the plan to reveal more about the game is? Grubb said, I don't. So it confirms Grubb only knows a few things, obviously not everything. And then we had another departure. Let me get the exact date for this one. And this was Hayden CW. And they said, Daraf Sharal, BioWare, I've always been a huge fan and working here was like a childhood dream come true. I feel so fortunate to have worked on it as Dragon Age. It's going to be an exciting game and I can't wait to find out what's next. Excited. I can't wait to play it as a fan, excited for what's next. Did I write what they were? I did not write what they were back in the day. But yeah, again, just another departure, which was straight after that. I think that was also June as well. Okay. So now let me check the comments. Any comment about Morrigan? We'll get to Morrigan later on. I don't think I've got that in my document, but we can definitely pull that up at some point. Yeah, so then in September, we got another article. This is when, again, news kind of was a bit slow. Not much really going on. But let me pull up. We have, wait, let me pull it up. So, September, nothing really happened in August. We got a few social media stuff, BioWare tweeting about, members of the team. Mike Jungbluth departed. We've missed that one. Right, let me get this one up for you. Okay, the tweet doesn't exist anymore, but I can assure you it did exist, and I will show you when it did exist. So, Mike Jungbluth departed the team. And then we had Mary Delmar joined, but I'm pretty sure she joined Mass Effect. She worked on Deus Ex Machina and also Guardians of the Galaxy as a narrative narrative something. And she's joined BioWare as a senior narrative director. And I think it's been confirmed that she actually is on Mass Effect. Yeah, so we talked about that. Yeah, and then Mike Jungbluth departed. I haven't got the tweet up, I haven't saved it, but they've deleted the tweet. But Mike Jungbluth was, I believe, an animation director or an animation something big in the animation part, and they decided to leave the team as well, which is just another. I don't know if they're a senior developer, but that's another departure, literally within the first half of the year. And then we have a lot of silly stuff what they changed the wallpaper. So I'm not going every single thing because Okay, Mark Darrah tweet. What did Mark Darrah tweet? Mark Dara, in July 19th, Mark Dara tweeted, "Do you think we will ever get a remastered version of Origins? My probability is way higher than it was in 2019. And Mark's probability in 2019, because I made a video at the time, was that he was very hopeful for a Dragon Age Origins remaster. If he's now even more hopeful than he was before, it's pretty exciting. That is really exciting. It's just, is that still the case now? Let me read. Emily put, Jack chose the perfect time to live stream. It's my birthday and I get to join in the tinfoiling while I get ready for the day. Happy birthday, Emily. Can everybody please put in the chat a massive happy birthday to Emily? Oh, thank you so much, Emily, for spending your birthday with this stream. Really, really appreciate that. Oh my goodness, I hope that you're having an awesome, fantastic birthday. But yeah, like, everybody please give Emily a massive happy birthday. Emily is a great friend in my Discord too. So yeah, hope you're having an amazing day, Emily. Do you have any plans for the day as well? But yeah, thank you so much for checking me out on your birthday. I really, really appreciate that. Let me check chat. Purple Hawk survives a fade. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Exalted Match, how you doing, Jordan? Good to see you. Thank you, appreciate it. Yes, got my channel back and we're just going through everything there is to know about Dragon Age. I've already talked about this leak that's happened, but just going through, because I didn't do a video last year about everything that happened last year, we're just going through all the tidbits and the most important details. But yeah, really good to see you, Jordan. Thank you for checking me out, checking my live stream. Hope you're doing well, my dude. Yeah, everybody, thank you all for sending Emily a happy birthday. Yeah, okay, next piece. So what are we talking about now? Now, next we have the next blog that came out, which was really cool. It was the Codices blog. Let me get it up. I didn't link it. I don't know why I didn't link it. So they put it somewhere as opposed to the BioWare blog. It'll be somewhere else. Let me find it. They have like 2 different places for their blogs. It's a little bit awkward. What I'll do is I will just search Dragon Age Codices blog. BioWare community. Here we go. Okay, so it's a BioWare community blog, that's why. So then this was in September. So we're actually kind of getting closer towards the end of the year because it was pretty quiet. You know, we heard about the game in June, about it being, you know, that kind of June, July is kind of E3 week, E3 month as well, where you got like games coming around the corner, E3, everyone talking about their big games and the releases for the next quarters. And I think EA Play 2022 was cancelled. It was cancelled or it was on. I don't think it was on, to be fair. I can't remember. But the big thing for EA at the time was Dead Space, which obviously just came out the other day. But yeah, there wasn't much. And I think it being the middle of the year, around that time, BioWare came out and were like, yeah, by the way, Dragon Age Dreadwolf is the title for the new game. Also, Dragon Age Absolution is a Netflix thing in the works. It's coming out in December. That kind of also inspiring everybody to be like, okay, well, in December, we've got Dragon Age Absolution, we've got Dragon Age Day, and we've got the Game Awards. Could we be seeing the next Dragon Age? Because BioWare pretty, you know, we've got 3 things there synonymous with Dragon Age. So could it be? Obviously, in hindsight, no, we didn't. But maybe at the time, as people speculate, BioWare originally intended to be at the Game Awards. I don't know. Anyway, we got this blog, which was September, and let's have a look at what it said. Community update talking about storytelling and what it's going to entail. So they talked a lot about what characters and the stories mean for BioWare, how we are defined about how BioWare games are defined by their characters, and the fact that there's going to be a new protagonist, a new hero this time around. Talking about how deep lore is daunting for new players, but it's also an exciting challenge. They concept test Throne, Brawback, and bring constantly change a lot of ideas during early stages. And then we got 3 codices. We got one about Brother Journey TV talking about, I believe, misconceptions about the Necropolis, the Mortalitasi, and the Devourer as a whole. Really, really fun. I think we referred this to one of the characters in the Dragon Age Day short stories. Can't remember who it was at the moment, but I can pull up what I wrote at the time. So we said, This codex refines the established law of Thedas as found in previous games. It kind of retcons it. Not retcons, but it kind of does. It just establishes it from a different perspective from what was previously told in the previous games. So it's effectively a retcon. But it helps codify previous misconceptions of the Grand Necropolis. Instead of Brother TV's findings being accepted as the absolute truth, it would seem that his findings act as merely one account. Therefore adding more depth to the world while also revealing previously unknown details. So it's not retcon, it's codifying it, but also saying that the things you knew about Navarra in the past was just one perspective from Brother TV, as opposed to what it actually is. So yeah, it's an account of Navarra from somebody who actually is what we assume is Immortalitasi necromancer. What else did I say? I said, it would seem that Navarra's dead wander the halls of their crypts and the Mortalitasi deal with malign spirits accordingly. We also figure out that Sylvia Fekadakuti wrote this codex, and also she worked on Down Among the Dead Men and The Flame Eternal, which are two stories that revolve around the Mortalitasi and the Grand Necropolis. And we have actually quite a few characters that this journal could be written by. They are Audric, Myrna, Emrich, and Joanna. I believe that this journal entry, codex entry, was written by Emrich. It just sounds like his demeanor, and also I think there's like a HS there, so it most likely is Emrich. But yeah, literally go into detail on that. And yeah, it's just a fun codex, just a great way to codify lore and content that we found out in previous games. And then we had an interview with Sylvia talking about it. Again, I did a video on this, but we want to cut down on that. And then we had the Randy Dowager, and we had a codex on the Vinsummer dragon, which is already existing in the current world. I just didn't know at the time. But it's the lightning dragon in the Storm Coast. And then we got one about a Randy Dowager quarterly. Don't think I had much to say about this one. What did I say on it? Just a returning Dragon Age character. And this was written by Lucas Chris Johnson, who I believe wrote Sarah back in the day. But yeah, so codexes, well, honestly, this was fun content at the time. Hey Jack, did you notice the gold in the image? I sure did. That's funny. But yeah, honestly, like, this was really fun social content at the time. Like, it was a bulky interview. Like, good content. Whoever put this piece together, let me get it up again. I think I've deleted. Oh, it's because I clicked on the image. I got rid of it. 2 seconds. Get rid of that. But yeah, like a full-on, like, holistic, proper article on the codexes, the writing team, the conceptualizing process of writing, what it means to write for Dragon Age, what it means to have a new hero, how they incorporate lore into that, how they're incorporating new fans' experiences into that. Like, really, 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 really good. It's really good content. Dragon Age blog. There we go. Did they mention anything else? So yeah, codexes, interview, and then they did community spotlight. I don't really want to show that because fan art, and I don't want to, don't want to take over somebody else's fan art with my own live streams. More for their sake than mine. But then we scroll down, all by design, and they just shared that they're one step closer to their big milestone, which we're going to get to in a second. These changes don't just happen; they've been working with a team, carrying the vision. So here again, teasing that they are carrying their vision together on their road to launch, kind of indicating that the road to launch is getting very, very much closer with each update and milestone and blog they release. But yeah, we're still here waiting, which is fine. But it the vocabulary they're using, the way they're saying things, it sounds like they were getting close, very, very, very much close, which we're going to look at very next, but very close to kind of finalizing on, Dreadwolf's release date. Yep. Okay, until then, Dreadwolf, take you. Right, next thing, what have we got to look at? We have... Well, yeah, it's the next major update in the BioWare development team, and that is the Alpha milestone, which was huge. So, like, that's the thing, folks. Like, we have, codices in September, and then I think, is this October? I think it's October. They don't have a date on it. Let me check. It is October, yeah. This was 26th of October, so this was literally a month after the Codices blog. We get this massive news update. Beautiful soul, that's right up there. Wasn't there just Bill? Hello, Mr. Hulton. How you doing? Or Hulton. I don't know how you say your name properly, but hello, how you doing, my dude? Dude, folks, we've got literally another Dragon Age friggin' YouTuber in the chat. How you doing, my dude? Good to see you. Oh, my dude. Yeah, everybody give him a hi. Give him a massive shout out. Say hello. Yes, so October, we got this, which, again, huge freaking update. Like, all of my friends who are in like game development were like, oh, Jack, like Dragon Age is in its alpha. That means it's coming out really soon then. Like, you know, well, you know what? We're going to read this one because this is probably, this and the June update are the biggest updates. So, hello, Gary McKay. In my last blog back in February, I talked about the next Dragon Age game entering the production phase. Well, now we've come a very long way since then, and the team is incredibly happy to announce a huge step forward in development of the game you now know as Dragon Age Dreadwolf. We have completed our alpha milestone. Up to this point, we've been working very hard on various parts of the game, but it's not until the alpha milestone that a game comes all together. Now, for the first time, we can experience the entire game from the opening scenes of the first mission to the very end. We can see, hear, feel, and play everything as a cohesive experience, which is the exact opposite of what that new leaked article says, to some extent. The fact that there's missing features, missing voice lines, there's a lot of multiplayer elements still in the game. So the fact that they're saying this here, and a leaked article is saying something else, confusing. But again, like, it's a leaked article, don't take their account. But again, like, don't throw it away completely in the wind, because it has some accountability behind it, because the insiders who follow the article are trustworthy and have proven a few things about Dreadwolf's development process so far, like the title, and like indicating on marketing things, and like a good couple of things. So, now what? Of course, the game is not finished by any means, but alpha is one of the most important game development milestones for a number of reasons. First and foremost, we can now turn our sights towards bringing the visual fidelity to its final form and iterating on gameplay features. Okay, so fair dues, they are iterating on gameplay features, which could refer to the multiplayer pivot turnaround thing. The big question now is, where do we focus our efforts on? To answer that, we solicit feedback from a number of sources, including our community council members, who each have unique perspectives and experiences. Our quality verification team and extensive internal playtesting, gathering feedback from multiple sources, gives us the greatest insight on where we need to spend most time on improving the experience. Okay, cool, good to hear. Mr. Hulton, well, you got it right, man. So happy you got your channel back. Thank you so much, dude. Really appreciate that, man. Thank you. And also, thank you for tuning in, just to even say that. Really appreciate it, dude. That's also true, Alicia Jones. Just because you can play the whole experience doesn't mean everything is in the game. Okay, that is also something to note. Additionally, we can now evaluate the game's pacing, how relationships evolve over time, and how the player's progression, as well as narrative cohesion. Essentially, how the story comes together. We can take the story we've written and see if we're expressing it through the characters, dialogue, cinematics, and ultimately the player's journey. Now that we have the ability to do a complete playthrough, I mean, that word there is, you know, a complete playthrough, we can iterate and polish on things that matter most to our fans, i.e. being a single-player experience, hopefully. Hitting Alpha was the culmination of so much effort from the entire team, and we used this milestone as an opportunity to come together and celebrate. We held a hybrid-style event with people on site, while others joined remotely, and the team showcased their work to everyone at BioWare. We even took time to do something fun and non-work related, a virtual escape room where we had to work together to help someone on camera find their way out. It was a really great time, and no matter where our devs are, it's important to share these types of moments together. Absolutely. Start to finish. Now that we're finally able to experience the entire game, for me, my favourite part is the characters. Don't you dare. With our followers, allies, or villains plural there as well. Obviously, we're going to have more than one villain, but, you know, still nice to hear. They're woven into the game in the ways that take a concept that's always been a part of the Dragon Age DA. Stories are about people and push it further than ever before. The characters help contextualize the world and the stakes, and I can't wait until we're able to really start discussing them in depth. When will that be, though? When will that be? It's also really exciting to finally be able to bring our fans to parts of the world that we've never previously hinted at, but we've never been able to fully explore, like the city of Minrathous, the capital city of the Divinity Empire. We've talked about Minrathous in previous games, and now you'll finally be able to visit. It's a city built on and fueled by magic, and the ways in which that has come through it in its visual identity, and what that looks like in comparison to previous cities we've visited Dragon Age are pretty spectacular. Fantastic. As I mentioned earlier, the Alpha milestone is an extremely important one for us, but there's more work to be done. We also want to continue being transparent with you, our community, and keep you up to date on what we're crafting. Hopefully, you've been enjoying our development updates on Dreadwolf this year, as we're looking to sharing more in the future. Dreadwolf is not the only thing happening at BioWare. We've got a team of work envisioning the next Mass Effect, and we look forward to celebrating in 7 Day. Also, the SWTOR team continue to work on their new updates. We have so many cool things to show you in the future. Until then, thanks for being a part of the community, and we can't wait to do this without you. Okay, so yeah, a lot to take in here. Again, really exciting, just the fact that they're iterating that the game is actually... Let me get the exact quote. They can do a complete playthrough. Obviously, it doesn't mean that everything is in place. There's still parts of the game that need to be iterated and worked in. But at this point in October 26th, they were polishing the game, making it up, polishing its visual identity, iterating on certain features, working out, how it flows, the pacing. Is this character dynamic good? Is this story element okay? How does that fit into the overall narrative? Player's progression, narrative cohesion, all that stuff. So now to hear this leaked thing, I'm not even going back to it, but I just want to hit the hammer on the head again. To go back to this leak that apparently the game is not at that point, and actually there's a lot of work that needs to be done still, or there's a lot of multiplayer elements that still need to be removed. It's like, whose word do you want to take? The truth is probably in the middle, but still, it's just a bit like, oh, okay, BioWare have told us that the game's in alpha and that the game is actually very much on its road to release. And now we haven't heard anything since then. We haven't seen anything at the Game Awards. And if it's coming out soon, and if it's all on course, and it's all okay, surely it's coming out soon, and we're going to see marketing phases, and we're going to actually see the game and gameplay and have that marketing ramped up even more. And now it's like, nope, nothing at the Game Awards, a cinematic teaser, and also no blogs, no information on the new year. Also, Mac Walters has left the team, and there's still nothing. And we're getting insider reports that they still need to iterate on so many mechanics, and it's got this Destiny-like hub space that they're still working out. It's confusing. So it is confusing. You want to take BioWare's word, absolutely, but the actual leak is apparently from insiders within BioWare. So I don't know. What do you folks think? I don't know. It's awkward territory to be in. Yeah, I don't know. Both could be true. I agree. I think the truth is in the middle. I think that's the safest bet. Maybe there is a bit of work that they haven't fully revealed, and why would they reveal in an article to everybody? They wouldn't obviously say that. But also, maybe that article isn't also fully to a T as well in terms of it being like Destiny. I don't know. Yeah, while you guys put your thoughts in the comments. While you do that, I will pick up the next information. But I do really want to read your comments on this too. So please give me your opinions. I want to hear it all, because we've got our final stories of 2022 to delve into, and that is just this big whammy that we got on Dragon Age Day. So, chat, what have we got? Let's have a look. I believe Mark Dara said sometimes games hit alpha to get more resources for the game, so that could be true. Okay, Cameron, that's cool. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Lilith. Really appreciate it. It's good to have you back. Thank you. Everybody's talking about Absolution. We will get to Absolution for sure. We can talk about Absolution towards the end. I never played Destiny, so I don't know that reference. Fair dues. Never dues. Not going to jump to any conclusions. Let's not panic yet. That's also a good point. House of Johan. Or John. Or Johan. Yeah, everybody's talking about Absolution. We will definitely talk about Absolution at some point. I just need to enter that different frame of mind from the news and the speculation. Okay, well, if nobody has got much to say on it, seriously doesn't feel like they're being open with us in 2018 to 2020. Yeah, I agree. I've never played Destiny, so I don't have an idea how its influence would direct Dragon Age's development, but I wouldn't mind any gameplay changes. I'm hopeful. Welcome back, Jack. Thank you, Nick White. How you doing? What do you think about VA not in Dad? VA. Who is VA? Who is VA? VA. Not yeah, that's fair, Jace the Face. Not enough information. Oh, we'll talk about Morrigan's voice actress soon. We will talk about that soon. Yeah, we'll talk about that after a roundup. We're keeping a continual flow up until that point. But after we've talked about all of 2022's updates, we'll then talk about things like that. But yeah, okay. Let us talk about the final story then of 2022. At least, well, one of the final ones, because there's a few more that we need to talk about. And that is, again, just referring to what we've already talked about, which is this. This was the final tidbit of 2022, referring to just Dreadwolf development. Yes, we got Absolution. Yes, we heard about the Missing, the new comic that's still coming out. But regarding just Dragon Age Dreadwolf's development, we got this final send-off, which is... Friends, we wanted to thank you for your years of amazing support and the past and future of Dragon Age. We've had a particularly fun and fascinating year working on Dreadwolf, reaching the production phase, which was the first quarter of the year, in February, announcing the title in June, hitting Alpha in October, and along with showcasing amazing team members throughout the year. So when they put it in a paragraph like this, like, yeah, honestly, really, really fun, good content. But like when we put it like, and like, I'm not saying it wasn't. It was really, really good stuff. But like we all kind of like the way they were going. It's like the road to Dragon Age Dreadwolf is closing in, and they're going to show off the game, and they're going to give us a release date. And like since then they haven't, and that's where it gets this awkward pacing of Mac Walters left while the news came out in 2023. Apparently he left like end of 2022. We'll look into it in a minute. But yeah, like this sounds great stuff. But it sounded like they were building up to a bigger reveal, and we didn't get that. We got this, which is great. It's great. It's a fantastic cinematic, but it's just confirming things we already know, which is just the safe way to go if they're still not ready to talk about the game, which is most definitely what they did. But anyway, they said we wanted to close out this show with a little treat to celebrate Dragon Age Day in our own way by sharing the key cinematic. Enjoy. Whether you're celebrating with us in-game, readying for Absolution, or waiting for Fen Harrell to make his move, we're right there with you. Keep an eye on our social media channels for a fun day today, and always have a happy Dragon Age Day. And then the Bioware team referring to themselves as the Dreadwolf Pack. And now we're going to talk about Mac Walters, which is something I haven't even talked about on my channel yet, so this is new territory. So let's get into this one. Like, yeah, I don't have anything prepared for this because it just happened 12 days ago. Now, let me get his tweet up as well, because I want to see what he said, because he adds more. So this article was created before he... Ooh, don't want to do that. This article was created before he responded. Hello, Vianna. How you doing? Vianna Llewellyn. Okay. Okay. Where is Mac Walters? There he is. Here's his tweet. We'll bring up that later on. Cool. So, let's read. I haven't actually read this properly myself. I'm working on a video about this, the leak again, which I know all of you are probably sick to death of hearing about, and other things. Oh, Mr. Hulthin. I'm actually sort of confused. I'd love a real meaty update as soon as possible, but then again, BioWare aren't beholden to do anything, especially since they know the game will still have away. That's also true. It's true. I think it's just like awkward territory, because whenever there's been a departure, BioWare have at least made a blog about it, somebody as big as this. And so, I don't know, I kind of at least want them to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Like when Christian Daly left, they were like, Christian Daly's leaving BioWare, but also don't worry because we've changed our leadership teams. This is what we've got. Mac Walters is going to be the production director. Corinne Bush is the game director. Benoit Houle is the product development manager. Like, don't worry, just because this role's left, we're filling the void, it's okay. And I think when they do that, they set a standard. So when they don't do it, it's obvious. Now, I've also just answered my own question in that because Mac Walters is the production director, or was the production director of Dragon Age, and he's left the team. Maybe because production is finished. So actually, Mac Walters' departure might not actually be that big of an issue. But as Mr. Hulton has just said, it's all the other people who are leaving that actually is kind of worrying. Because as we've gone through today, and I'll probably continue to go through, there was a lot of senior developers who left last year, and I need to actually create a chart. In my previous 2021 video, I made a massive chart of people who have left. I'm definitely going to do that in a video at some point. Yeah, when I've got more resources and I've sorted out my computer because I've reset all my assets. But yeah, I'll make a chart of everybody who's left the Dragon Age process since its initial production phases in 2020, and it's a lot. It's a lot of people. Don't want to be all doom and gloom, but a lot of senior managing positions have left, from Mike Laidlaw to Matthew Goldman to Fernando Mello to now Mac Walters to Mark Darrah to Casey Hudson to Christian Daly, and that's the top of my head. Alan Shemesha, so many people have left. So it is slightly worrying in that regard. But anyway, let's go over this article before we draw any swift conclusions. Okay. Another Dragon Age Dreadwolf lead has departed BioWare. As Eurogamer reported earlier today on January 23rd, BioWare veteran Mac Walters has officially departed the studio. Walters has been working at BioWare for an incredible 19 years, starting out when he worked on Jade Empire. What Walters has been known for with his audience around the globe, though, is the Mass Effect trilogy. He did a fantastic job. Walters would go on to serve as lead writer for both Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, rounding out the trilogy as a focal point for character development and story, two aspects of which BioWare's series are obviously beloved. Walters, let me get rid of these ads. Sorry about the ads, folks. I just don't want to see it. Walters would then go on to serve as the creative director on Andromeda, stepping up from his position as lead writer on the main trilogy. Next for the veteran came as the role as the head of Anthem, BioWare's sadly ill-fated venture into the online multiplayer shooter space a few years ago after Andromeda. Now, though, Walters departs BioWare partway through development of Dragon Age 4, a project on which he was the production director, the long-awaited follow-up to a 2014 Dragon Age Inquisition. Dragon Age Dreadwolf is currently without a release date after years of development, and BioWare originally revealed it was in the middle of production as of late June 2022, although, as we know, it's entered its alpha stages. So probably should have mentioned that, I think. Anyway, unfortunately, Walters is the latest in a long line of high departures from the Dragon Age team, including Christian Daly and the sequel's creative director in prior 2021, i.e. Matthew Goldman. So, yep, that's what the article claims. The thing is, I appreciate Games Radar, but they didn't mention the fact that apparently the game's in alpha, so if production has ended, maybe Mac Walters could leave at a point when it was least inconvenient. So I think I'll probably mention that in my new video that I'm working on, but maybe Mac Walters left and it isn't actually as inconvenient as it would seem. I'm going to read a few comments before I continue to his tweet. So, talking about the leak, Mr. Hulton said, his source sounds unfamiliar with BioWare, but Tom is someone who can usually be trusted, like of Jeff Gruff. I've heard that Tom has a dramatic flair, though. Yeah, I agree. The inside sources can be trusted because it's Tom Henderson who leaked the title, as I said before. Not leaked, he revealed the title 24 hours before the title was revealed, but he can be trusted. He can be. So, Mac tweeted, this was just 2 weeks ago as well. As several of you noticed, I've moved on from BioWare late last year. So that's the thing. Why didn't we hear about this late last year when BioWare, pardon me, were doing all their blogs? That's the concerning thing. They've told us about executive producer Christian Daly. They've told us about Casey Hudson, Mark Darrah. They didn't tell us about Matthew Goldman because we assume Matthew Goldman was fired. Let's just say it. We assume Matthew Goldman was fired because of his creative direction, and they didn't tell us because of that, and we had to find that out the hard way, which is via leaked reports. And now we find out that Mac Walters left the company last year, but BioWare didn't tell us. We again found out through not leaked reports, but kind of leaked reports, and then he's actually officially confirmed it. So if this was more of a case of Mac Walters leaving at a time when it was more convenient, why didn't BioWare just tell us that? Why didn't it just go, right, yep, blog like what was left, like they did with executive producer Christian Daly and Mark Darrow. But they didn't. So that's a little bit concerning in my opinion. It could be nothing. It could have been the timing. It could have been, hey, it's Christmas, there's no blogs, oh, it's been too late. But still, they do it for some people, they don't do it for others. It creates an element of expectation. So if you don't want to do, if you're going to do it for one person in the senior position, you have to do it for everybody. That's my opinion, at least. And I think it's an understandable and somewhat like logistical opinion to have. Anyway, late last year, I made the very tough decision to leave BioWare after 19 years. It was an unforgettable journey with so many wonderful people and an incredible team and projects along the way. All the very best to everybody at BioWare. So, like, thing is, this tweet comes out after it was reported, which just makes it a bit, again, awkward. But I don't know. I don't know what to think. End of the day, apparently production ended and the game's in alpha, so somebody leaving as a production manager really isn't a big deal because production's ended. Maybe understandably, like Mac Walters has been there for 19 years. He worked on Anthem, he's worked on the trilogy, he worked on Andromeda, and he's just finished on Dragon Age Dreadwolf. He probably wants a break. He probably just wanted to go, you know what? I've worked on a lot of stuff. Dragon Age Dreadwolf has just finished its production. I'm going to take this one out and chill. Completely understandable. Like he's worked on a lot of hard projects. Like not that many people have been able to do that and actually stay at BioWare having worked on Anthem and Andromeda. So all the credit to Mac Walters. So much credit to him. I just wish that this was kind of dealt with in the proper way that it has been for other people, because it just makes me go, why didn't they say something about it? And why have they still been quiet about it? We haven't had a BioWare current state of 2023 like we did last year. So it's just confusing, like they haven't said anything this year. They've just talked about SWTOR and they've talked about Dead Space, and they've done a few tweets like, that feeling when you leave the week work on a Friday, as opposed to like actually tweeting about the game or talking about it or blogging on it, whatever. And I get it, they want to be quiet, but they build this unmet expectation when they don't do one thing and then they do another thing, and it confuses everybody. I'm going to read some comments now because I realise that I am spitballing and kind of summarising on the Dragon Age Dreadwolf updates of 2022. We do have one more thing to talk about, which is actually exciting, but let me just read some comments. BioWare knows the Dragon Age franchise is big. This is also why, even when reaching information and teasers, they won't get too many complaints. Obviously, the pandemic plays a big part in the song with too. Also very true, Claudia Peters. Very, very true. Yeah, Evelyn, I agree. Goldman seems to be an outlier. It was so instant and cold. It was literally like, right, you've done this wrong, you're out. That's it. Like, it was literally like, you're fired. You're done. Apparently it was a mutual understanding, but I don't know. Like, that could have even delayed the process. Who knows? People leaving doesn't concern me that much. There are a lot of reasons to leave jobs, especially midlife and people with families. Those who left under negative circumstances seem pretty open. And I agree, and that's why, like, when it's like, oh, Christian Daly's moved on and there's a blog on it and we love what he's done and it's supportive, I'm like, you know what? I don't worry about the executive producer position now because Christian Daly's clearly left on good circumstances that it's not worrying. But when it's like, oh, they've left and there's no information about it, and it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, this person's left, and it's like Games Radar's the first person to tell you, that's where it's like, oh, okay, so this is leaked information then. This has happened at an untimely occasion, whatever. That's when it's a bit like, it's a bit sus. Leaving that there, I suppose, let's talk about something that is exciting that happened. I think it was literally just before Christmas in 2022. So we are wrapping up 2022 with a good end to the story. And that, well, actually, it depends how you take it. It depends how you look at it. Because for some people, this might be great. For people who love Trevor Morris, this is obviously not so great. But we have an inkling on the composer of Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and I will also be talking about this in my new news video that I'm going to be working on tomorrow. I don't know when I'll get it out. It depends. But yes, we have an Interstellar and Lion King composer will apparently be writing the music for Dreadwolf. So let's just read this out. Composer Trevor Morris, who wrote the soundtrack for Dragon Age Dreadwolf, announced on Twitter that he is not working on the fourth part of the game, and according to the musician, BioWare abandoned him at his servants in favour of Hans Zimmer and company. As tweeted, Black Gay Comic Geeks tweeted, I hope BioWare and Electronic Arts are bringing back Trevor Morris to do the score for Dreadwolf because the score for Inquisition was incredible then and still incredible now. Trevor Morris replied, nope, bailed on me for Mr. Zimmer and company. Appreciate the love though. Hans Zimmer is one of the top Hollywood composers. His music plays in The Lion King, Gladiator, Sherlock Holmes, and many of Christopher Nolan's films, including Inception and Interstellar. Zimmer crossed paths with Games twice when he wrote the soundtracks for Crysis 2 and the original Modern Warfare 2. So I love Trevor Morris's work. I love Hans Zimmer. I'm like, oh, thank you so much, Mr. Holfin, for becoming a member. Ah, dude, thank you so much for showing some support and love. Ah, dude, thank you, man. I really, really appreciate it. We'll have to collab sometime as well. Like, stream together, video together, whatever. Like, yeah. But thank you so much, dude. Sorry, yeah, throw me off there. But yeah, like, I love Trevor Morris. His soundtrack for Trespasser and just Inquisition as a whole, beautiful. Dude! Why you gifted me 20 memberships? Thank you so much, dude. Oh my goodness, Mr. Holfin, thank you. Dude, honestly, I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, dude, thank you. Honestly, humbling me right now. Thank you so much.
Hi,
does my little thing play? Can you guys hear that? I think that was... Let me give it a listen. It's not playing right now, but I think it should be Patrick Weeks saying...
Hijacked.
Hijacked. Can you folks hear that when that happens? Do you hear hijacked? I hope you do. I don't know if I've got the volume on for the alert. I don't know. But yes. Sorry, what was I saying? Trevor Morris, fantastic. Loved his work for Dragon Age Inquisition. Proved himself how incredible he can do. Then again, biting my tongue because I know what I just said. It's friggin' Hans Zimmer. You know, it's Hans Zimmer. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you folks think? It's faint, but you hear it. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's Patrick Weeks literally saying hi to me. That is my claim to fame. That is, yeah. You just finished Mr. Holfin's video before watching here. Hey, hell yeah, Rachel. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's, yeah. It's my biggest claim to fame, and I just have to have that. That's one benefit you get from joining my streams, and if I ever get a membership, it's you get to hear Patrick Weeks literally say hi to me. And it happened in real life. It's not fake. Hey, using the emojis. I always say that I say emotes or emojis wrong. But yes, anyway, what would you folks think about Hans Zimmer instead of Trevor Morris? As Patrick Weeks... As Patrick Weeks continues to say hi to me. Let me read some comments. I wish Morris was doing Dreadwolf. Inquisition's music lives rent-free in my head and my heart. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's going to be a different tone. It's going to be... Let me put this in. It's going to be different. And the thing is, like, Trevor Morris properly got Solas's character in terms of, like, the exposition of just Trespasser's music. And so, like, I love that, but it's Hans Zimmer. Like, you know, I don't want to compare, but, you know, when you're, like, comparing, like, one of the best musicians in film and TV to, like, Trevor Morris, you know, not fair to compare, but, yeah, regardless, it seems like Dragon Age Dreadwolf's soundtrack is going to be friggin' lit. And I think, for now... That is what we've talked about. We talked about the leak at the very start, which I know a lot of you will probably want to go back to. But, what did Mr. Holfin say? Hans is God tier, but I wonder if actually Mr. Zimmer is or one of his squad, or if it's actually Mr. Zimmer or one of his squad mates. Yeah, because he did say Mr. Zimmer and his squad, or his company, sorry. That also could be true. Yeah. So, all in all, folks, what do we think about the news that we got in 2022? I think I've, like, summarized so many different times, but essentially, like, it was a really good... I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by Patrick Weeks. You can just hear it. It was really good in terms of, like, the content that we did get, but I just think that constant barragement of we're going to see something, we're going to hear something, we're going to see something, we're going to hear something, and it not actually end up is just misleading and misconstrued. The fact that a lot of developers have left the team, the fact that we still don't know when this game's coming out, and we still don't know anything about it, besides the fact that Solas is going to be the antagonist, Varric's coming back, there's a new protagonist, and also we're going to be going to the city of Amarthus at some point. And, like, we can kind of get an idea of some undertones given the font and given the text and given, like, a few of the screenshots and a few of the micro things we've seen in the 2020 Gamescom trailer. We still don't know that much. And we're still waiting, and it's been 8 years in development. Hello, Hexingkind. How you doing? Let me read some comments, because I realise I am also... Hans Zimmer did the song of the sort of Prince of Egypt, which has a similar feel to Dad. Oh, Prince of Egypt. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. The second I hear Lost Elf theme, I cry. Same here, honestly. Cruffius B said, I'm not worried. The leak, in quotes, in the article seems very uneducated, especially when it comes to the game in reference. Mac Walters leaving is not a big of a deal. It's not as a big of a deal. He was a glorified deadline manager. See, the thing is, I get what you mean by that, because if BioWare had said that the game's in alpha, and this article saying actually no, well, you want to trust BioWare over an article, don't you? Right? Right, it's common sense. So you know what, Cruffius? You could be on... The one valid point you, as a evil, twisted magister, have made, that's probably one of your most valid points. Not you as a person, though, obviously. I'm not calling you out, Cruffius B. Even if it was a squad mate, Hans would still have to approve of them, so I will still think he would directly be involved. It would still be astonishingly beautiful. That's also true, Lynn. I was so convinced we would see Dreadwolf at the Game Awards. Same here. The lack of an announcement date has me worried. I hope it won't be 2024. Yeah, I think it will be. I think, yeah. I do think it's going to be 2024. I think, optimistically, spring 2024. But I think if it was this year, we'd know. Unless they're going to Starfield it. Starfield's a bad example. Unless they're going to fall out for it. I.e., hey, the game's, this is the game, this is everything we know about the game. All of it now. And they go, right, it's out in November, and they announce that in June. Say, like, unless they're going to do that, which I don't think they would do that, it's probably coming out in 2024. What did Cruffius say? They've been very much more open in recent months. I disagree. Okay, fair point. Fair. I mean, they have been open with their blogs. They have been open with their social content. But in terms of, like, telling us we're going to hear more about the next game, and I don't know, maybe I'm just being impatient. Maybe it's the lack of content. I'm seeing a lack of content when they actually are giving us stuff. I just think because we've waited so long that it's just I'm getting a bit impatient. Maybe, I don't know. Like, for me, I've started this channel in 2016, and for me it feels like I'm just hearing the same thing, and they're promising to give us more information, and it's the same information we've had before. So I feel like, from my point, I'm justified in that. Because it's like, okay, you're going to hear more about the next game, and then they give us like an opening sequence that is Varric, Solas, and like a bit about the Elven Gods and also the Dreadwolf, which is literally the same 4 points that we knew back in 2018 with the Dreadwolf Rises teaser trailer, that, you know, Solas is the antagonist, it's going to involve the Dreadwolf potentially destroying the Veil, and also you've got the Elven Gods, and also, by the way, Varric's coming back, which was pointed out in 2020, the Game Awards trailer. So for me, when they say they're going to tell us more about the next game, and then they show us content that is not more about the next game, I don't feel like they are. But that is just my opinion. And to be fair, on the back of that, like, they've also given us more codices. They've also shared more about what Dragon Age means to them. They've talked about creating certain characters, the conceptualization, the implementation of features, and that's great stuff. But it's also like, it's like not marketable, salesy material. You know what I mean? It's like, it's great from a designer's perspective, and somebody who is integral to like the game designer scene, to be, oh wow, they're in the concepting phase and in the alpha phase and they're doing all this stuff. That's great stuff. But from an outside hardcore fan perspective, it's like, well, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I feel like I'm making a valid point, but yeah. Jack, I watched your channel for 8 years now. You're like my friend from school. We're absolutely friends, Malusha, from school. Absolutely. Sorry. Malusha. Did I say that right? The problem isn't that they're not engaging with the fans, but they've barely shown anything of the game yet. Looking at the ratio after the in-game cinematic, you know, people are getting irritated. Yeah, I agree to that too. They're giving us social content and blogs. It's just like the content of it, you know. But I feel like we are going in circles now. But like, yeah, it's not the fact that they're not giving us stuff. They're talking to us. They've got a social media presence. That BioWare exist and they're doing things. It's just the content of it is just like, okay, but we know the same 4 points of Dreadwolf for the past like 5 years now. It's the content. When are we going to see this game? And I'm being impatient, but like I absolutely have the justification to be impatient, because we've been waiting for this game for 8 years. And it's like, okay, right, this game's been in development since how long? Like, I'm completely justified to feel a little bit impatient and a bit led on when it is like, we're going to show you more and we're going to talk about this game. and they're just talking about the same points that they reiterated in 2018 and then reiterated that they said in 2018 and then reiterated again 2 years later in 2020, you know? So, yeah, at the end of the day, the past is the past. There's nothing we can do about what they've done, what they've said they're going to do, what they've told us they're going to do. It's now what we're going to do. So, I suppose, ending this conversation on 2020, and we're now in 2023, what do we all think is going to happen this year? What do we all genuinely think BioWare are going to do? Because they haven't made any announcements about Dreadwolf yet. They haven't came out with any blogs. They haven't made any current state of BioWare. Gary McKay hasn't said anything as a general manager of BioWare. They've been very silent. They've been talking about Dead Space, and they've been talking about Dead Space and social media content. So what do we think is going to happen later this year? Do we think we'll see anything at the Game Awards? Is Dragon Age Dreadwolf going to be coming out in 2024? Is it going to be later? There's no justification for impatience. Is there really not? See, I think there is, personally. The dev blogs are okay, but reading between the lines, I only see, don't worry, everything's fine, but I'm also I'm still very little about the game, but also still very little about the game. Again, I'm cynical. But it's a good way to be Midnight Dreary. I think it's normal to be a little impatient since DI came out in 2014. Agreed, I have a lot of patience as well, and I'm going to buy it day one no matter what. Yeah, exactly. I think a gameplay trailer will be released sometime this year with mid-late 2024 release date. Yeah, that's good, to be fair. I hope beta milestone will be... Yes, Tabitha, yeah, so we should hear about the beta milestone. Another mural. Bill. Emily said, I think they are either going to drop a proper trailer or come out with a giant post on why there isn't. I hope so. Oh, I hope so. Another 2D trailer. This is when they constantly reiterate about the same thing over and over again. Nothing all this year. I agree, Jack. I'm too impatient. It's been forever. Guys, guess what? Watch this new trailer. It's about Solas and Varric only. It's Cameron, no. Cameron, no, don't. I think they teased a blog post about designing the game. So, oh, you're right. Thank you, Awa. You're right. They were going to talk about designing the game from the point of view of designers. Yes, thank you. Yes. They did do that. Mac Walters' departure is not a big issue, it seems. Yeah, we talked about that, Griffiths. We're in agreement that Mac Walters' departure is not a big deal. That is absolutely true. And the thing is, people do leave at different points in development, but also production seemingly ended. Mac Walters was the head of production. So if his position is if he's finished production, I assume, I don't know, but if he's head of production for Dreadwolf, if it's finished, he'd probably be shuffled to a different team or a different department or a different element of work. Or it's just a good point to leave. It's a good point to be like, right, I've worked here for 19 years, I'm going to work on something else. Dragon Age Day will definitely get something small. Yeah, definitely for sure, Mr. Hulton. Definitely. Lady Astor's predictions 2023. I can't even guess. I want this trailer in the summer. Oh, 1 second. But I don't know how possible it is. Not impatient, just concerned and fine waiting until it's ready. See, the thing is, I'm not impatient. I'm more like burned out with the same content that we're getting over and over. So it's not impatience. It's not frustration. It's not being like, I'm so annoyed by it. It's like, I'm excited for this game and I'm being patient, obviously, because I only make videos, once a week, anyway. Like, I'm not dying here. I've got things to do while I wait for the game. But I'm just more like burnt out with hearing that we're going to hear new content and it be the same content. Sophia Hawkins said, I'm waiting for news after Dragon Age comic with Varric ends. Yeah, which will lead us into April. So yeah, and to be fair, we do have Dragon Age content. We've got the comic coming out, and we just had Absolution, which was fantastic in my opinion. Does the comic release in April? So the comic is releasing right now, issue by issue. Issue 1 just came out last week, and then issue 2 is February, issue 3 March, and issue 4 April, which then leads us into May, June territory, which is like E3, EA Play. So it's at least 4 months of content, What else people saying? See, Lynn says, that's my thing. I'm okay with waiting for however long, but I just want to know that the game's actually progressing, even if it's like a developer talking thing about their work in the game. Yeah, also true, Lynn. Also very true. Absolutely valid. Varric needs a calm holiday away from Fadus and all of its crap. I agree, Black Sheep. I agree. Jackdaw, I made a Dreadwolf cup for Dad in my ceramic case. Please, Tabitha, take a picture and send that to me on Twitter. I'd love to see that. So happy I can rewind because I just came back from a nap and Elon Musk account hacked your account, bro. My condolences. Thank you so much, Mushroom Raccoon, farmer of cow. Burnt out is a better way of putting it. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Hulfin. Yeah. Exactly, Emily. It's hard to be excited for the same news over and over. Stop teasing us, BioWare. I'm tired of being optimistic about Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Everything has been so disappointing lately. Yeah. I'll admit I'm tired of the lack of communication. How did Varric become the Dragon Age? Yeah, frustration over marketing as opposed to BioWare. I think that's it, my lady. Yeah. Yeah. It's the chest hair. Yeah, so The Missing will release in like a full graphic novel, and that's normally a couple of months after like it's all compiled. I would say The Missing as a whole, like as a graphic novel, probably come out in September. It normally takes a couple of months after it's all released, and if it all finishes in April, I would say give it 3 months. It'll come out maybe August, September as a full hardcore graphic novel. Honestly, the Dragon Age lead should take a page out of Mike Gamble's book and throw out some artwork, as well as vague tweeting every now and then. And that's the thing, yeah. Like, I agree. And the thing is, like the Dragon Age team used to do a lot of that vague teasing, especially during 2020 when production had begun. Like, my videos in 2020 were massive and mighty, and it was good content, because BioWare were vague tweeting all the time. Like, and I've noticed as well in my document of, like, every single thing we know about Dragon Age, I'll show you right now. The vague tweeting has simmered down a lot. Let me get it up. I'll show you. And maybe like I haven't been all hands on in it, but no, genuinely, like, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not fully like all hands on. I am. Like 2020, like there was so much vague tweeting. Like this is just like that was just what was that? Just March? No, April. April, like the Red Book. I wish I could talk about what I'm working on. Made up codex entries, hands-on meeting, over 300 people in a video conference. BioWare review of content today. All I can say is scriptlet. Alex Wilton Regan talking about fans knowing what to do. Nunzio De Philippa talking about characters. Talking about Camp 7 that turned into a mess. There's coffee grounds spilled everywhere on the couch. Inexplicably on fire after a drinking game gone wrong. But that's another story. That's literally Patrick talking about the new companions. My cat is delaying things I'm building. I'm building geometry. I got to work on some real geniuses. The minds are incredible, and when they all come together, they really push something they want. There's no stopping them. Let's go. They're a terrible building material. These red books that literally were teased for a year. Now we know what they are. Patrick supplied to me. Large continuous worlds. Like there was like I'm just gonna scroll through it. This was 2020, and this is just May and June. Like a lot of vague, and this is all Twitter stuff. A lot of vague tweeting, and it was really good stuff. And now you get to like this, this year, and really not much. Like you can go through 2020, and that's fine. But they've definitely simmered down on the vague tweeting, which vague tweeting like made my channel. Like if you watched my channel in 2020 and before then, my channel was just BioWare vague tweeting tweets account. And I think, yeah, as FF4 says, like a lot of it was Mark Darrow's Twitter, which I also missed too. Like, yeah, I'll read through some comments I've missed. Hexen says, I think I speak for everyone when I say Anthem wasn't so much wasted time for BioWare. I think that one would never have been developed who would have had any Dragon Age games. Yeah, so yeah, we would have had Dragon Age Dreadwolf a lot earlier if Anthem hadn't been in development. And yeah, I mean, it depends if you enjoyed the game. I'm so-so in it. It's fun to fly around, but yeah. So apparently Morrigan isn't coming back. Apparently the voice actress has said something about that. I don't really know what she said. I think it was during Christmas, but she said something about not being in the next game. Thing is, if Claudia Black was in the next game, she couldn't tell you if she was or she wasn't. NDAs are there for a reason. It's like Gareth David Lloyd can't just say, like Gareth David Lloyd couldn't tell you that he is in the next game because he's signed an NDA that says he cannot confirm or deny. Claudia Black saying I'm not in Dragon Age Dreadwolf does not mean that she's not being in it. She's just denying it because she has to deny it because she's got nothing else to do. It's plausible deniability. It's like Andrew Garfield with spoilers, but for the Spider-Man movies. He was like, I'm not in the movie. No way, no way, no way. And obviously, yeah, he was in the movie. So just because they're saying that they're not going to be in it doesn't mean that they're not going to be in it. It's just plausible deniability. And they have to because they've signed an NDA. So I don't know. Maybe, unless she said something else, I need to look at the tweets, what she said. But yeah, let me just read some more comments. Unless they're getting a new voice act. Unless, you know what, folks? What if Claudia Black isn't coming back? Because Morrigan is going to be voice acted by Kate Mulgrew as the new next host of Flemeth. What if that's why Claudia Black isn't coming back? Because Flemeth has taken over Morrigan's body and has replaced her voice. I know that doesn't make sense, but it could do. But fair enough if she's not in Dreadwolf, but like she needs to be in Dragon Age 5, right? Like Morrigan is the inheritor of the next age. She needs to be in the next Dragon Age games. So surely she'll be back. Surely. She has to be. She has to be. Hell no. Come on, Nick. Why not? Why not? Oh, man. People are way too reactionary for me. I get the frustration. People need to calm down. Yeah, Corypheus, honestly, you're also right. You're also right. I get what you're saying. Like, that's just people online. I get what you mean, though. I get where you're coming from, and I have been taking into account what you've been saying in this stream. Like, I do appreciate what the points you are making. I do. What else are we all saying? What did we think about Dragon Age Absolution, folks? I thought it was fantastic. I haven't had time to even write down my thoughts and things. I watched it with some of my best friends in Delaware, of all places, and it was fantastic. We sat down together, some of my besties, and we watched all the episodes, and it was so good. Really enjoyed it. Jack, what did you think of the short clips of the combat and the behind-the-scenes videos a couple of years ago? I really liked it. I really liked what we saw. I liked the camera view, the perspective. I liked the jabs. The arm looked great. The red lyrium tendrils were very menacing. It looked good, and it definitely kind of reiterates that hack and slash and that leak. No, it looked really good. Yeah, no, I'm excited. That initially got me very pumped for the vision of Dragon Age, and also playing as a warrior looked fun too, even Sword and Shield, because warriors are really fun to play, but I always main them in like proper RPGs, and in Inquisition they didn't fully hook me in straight away. Two-handed absolutely did, but when I first played as a warrior of a Sword and Shield, it was great, but I wasn't hooked, and then I went for Rogue and I loved just the swiftness of it. So from that tiny snippet, I enjoyed it. Haven't seen the last episode of Absolution yet, ha ha ha. Okay, well then we will not spoil it for dear Mr. Hulthen chat, who I know are very excited to talk about it, but we cannot spoil it. But I really liked it. I thought it was fantastic. I do need to make a video on it at some point. I will try to. I need to talk about this new leak video. I need to do a video on this leak thing. If all of you are watching this, you probably don't need to watch that video, but you can if you want to. I'll have more points to make though, obviously. But I need to make a video on that, and then we need to talk about the missing, and then I need to talk about Baldur's Gate, and a lot of content that we need to just chug on with. So yeah, we've got plenty coming down the line. And I also really want to get back into streaming. I don't know, like New Year, I kind of might do more like newsy streams like this. It depends. I mean, we can talk for ages. I know people just, we spend so long talking about it. But like, I think for more impulsive stories like this leak, I think it's just going to be fun just to stream it as opposed to making a video on it. As like, I could do a bit of both. But I know like a lot of folks, when like news is released, they go to my channel straight away and like, right, where's the video? And I take like a day or 2 or 3 to make the video on it. Whereas if I stream it and we talk about it straight away and then I do a video on it, you're getting the best of both worlds. So people who more want like more of my like, proper in-depth discussion where I actually have a think about what I'm saying and write my thoughts down, and we research into topics and we talk about it from a holistic perspective. And also that impactful, instinctive, right, this is what he thinks right now, impulsive thoughts. You get the both of both worlds. You get the best of both worlds with that. So yeah, I do want to stream more this year. We will see. I would rather watch a Dracula breakdown position than the actual show. Thank you, Tina. Oh my goodness. Tina, lovely. Thank you. Also, really appreciate, Tina, that you've been watching my content for all these years. Obviously, absolutely recognize you in the chat. But thank you, Tina. Right. I will write it down on my list. I will write it down. Might take a little bit, but yeah. For now, we're going to be working on the new news videos and a few other things. Glad to see you're back, bud. Thank you so much, Joey House. Let me scroll up. I saw a few comments there that I wanted to check out. I really loved Absolution. I'm really glad everybody loved it. I just hope that Netflix renews it, because we know how bad Netflix are. Like, it took them ages to renew Wednesday. Like, come on. So, Nick, you are right about Plymouth not wanting to possess a soul on somebody who's unwilling. However, do a video and then a live stream to discuss it as well for me. Oh, thank you, Mr. Holton. Thank you. Yeah. So the thing about Plymouth Mafal said she cannot possess somebody unwilling. But what if she uses Kieran, if you have Kieran in your world state, to make Morrigan willing? What if she's like, okay, Morrigan, I'm either going to possess Kieran's body or I'm going to possess your body. She's obviously going to choose her over her child, because that's her maternal instinct. And so she's like, right then, when the time comes, it's either Kieran or it's either the boy or it's either you. And then she's willingly going to then sacrifice herself for Kieran, because that's what she's going to do. So then that makes her willing. There you go. And I think that's going to be so heartbreaking, and I guarantee that's going to happen. Corey, we're not really talking about that leak anymore. I mean, I'm talking about it tomorrow in a video, but I talk about everything Dragon Age. You know, like, it's a Dragon Age account. We talk about every single thing we can muster in Dragon Age, you know? So, yeah, like, we want to talk about everything, even if it is just silly leaks. Like, we talked about that stupid Dragon Age Retribution leak. Does anybody remember that? Like, my God, that was a blast from the past, but it was stupid, and we knew from the time it was daft and silly, but it was still funny to talk to, because at least there's some Dragon Age content we can talk about. But yeah, like, we're not taking it to a grain of salt, but at the same time, we're not taking it fully serious, but at the same time, there are some good insiders behind it. So, like, let's put a pin in that conversation now. It's got some good insiders who are legit in it, like Jeff Grubb and Tom Henderson, who have broken in Dragon Age news before, and it's been correct. But at the same time, it has some flaws in it. That's it. Like, it's a leak. Stal XD, yeah, I unsubbed because my account was hacked and turned into an Elon Musk account, but I am back. I hope Anthony Horwell will be in Dad. He liked my post on Twitter about how I liked his acting of Gaspard. Yes. Most of Dragon Age fans have been waiting almost 10 years, and even after so long, we still know nothing about the game other than Solas was here. Exactly. And that's why it's okay to be frustrated and be impatient. That's why it's understandable and it's okay. And that's why, you know, we're not fueling that as like we're annoyed at you, BioWare. We're just talking as fans, as one fan to another fan, just being absolutely honest with each other and being like, yeah, it's a little bit annoying that that's happening, but hey, it's okay, because we support the team and we're excited about the game, but we'd like to know more about the game. You know, we're not like, we haven't got pitchforks. We're not screaming at BioWare. We're not tagging them in mean tweets. We're just like, you know, we appreciate what you're doing, and we're going to take as much time as possible to support you guys. But yeah. I mean, sorry, Maxis. I do mean it that. I do mean motherly love. That's what I mean, though. Like, I mean her maternal instinct to love her child. But I didn't mean it like that, but yeah, it's motherly love. Salos. Exactly, Bill. Salos. Exactly, Bill. They can. And you know what? The reason why I am so picky about their marketing is I work in marketing. I've been a digital marketer for 6 years, and I'm a content writer currently. In that department, I'm like, I've got my hat on, I got my head on, I got my head switched on. I know what I'm talking about. So it's like, you know. Hey, Sarah Sadai. Thank you so much for being a long-time viewer. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining the journey for Dragon Age Dreadwolf all this long. I really, really appreciate it. This is the safe space. It is. Hello, Atachi. How you doing? Jessica Tate, I haven't read Missing just yet. We can talk about the idea of what a veil jumper is, but I know that they're involved in the Missing, and I haven't read it just yet. I've got the physical issue right there. I've been dealing with a lot of like the hacking stuff and assets and re-downloading a lot of things, and I just haven't had the time to process the the book, the comic. But I'm going to read it soon. Oh, Nick, I love this question. How would you market Dreadwolf? Sorry, I was reading Davra Brax. Thank you, Davra. No, I do appreciate that. Yeah, it isn't just Dragon. You're right. No, you're right. Thank you, Keith. Sorry, Keith and Tina. Exactly. Sorry. So, Nick, I'm going to stop looking at the chat and focus on Nick's question. How would I market Dreadwolf? So, I think the thing about BioWare, the marketing team, is they do know their fans very well, and they are switched on. They're switched on. Their entire job is marketing and research and understanding their target audience. That's a vital aspect of marketing, right? Understand your target audience and how to specifically sell a product to them. Ultimately, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about getting sales and your return on investment. So, BioWare do understand their fans, and I know fans like me, fans like every, other clown, other person in the community, every other hardcore fan. They love the interaction that we get from the developers. They love getting as much information as possible, and they love constant reassurance that this project is in the works. So their current marketing strategy has been that, and it's been a good one of, right, fans want to know when Dragon Age is coming out. They want to know everything about the game, and they want that constant reassurance that the game is in the works. And that's what they've been doing. It's just they've been doing it without any substance. And the substance has been, at first it was good substance. It was, okay, Solas, Dreadwolf, this is the direction we're going in, and we were excited to tell more about the game. But it's the same substance for the past 5 years. And I think what they should do, it's okay, Corypheus, don't worry about it. Honestly, it's okay. Thank you. Hi, Witchy, how you doing? What they should do is, the thing is, because they've started a marketing strategy of talking about Dragon Age, they can't just stop and go silent and then not do that because the game's pivoted, because that just makes it look awkward. But they kind of need to do that because they keep on, like, what's the phrase, beating a dead horse, or they keep on reiterating the same points of Solas, this, that, without actually bringing us any new content. And so, while they have started off marketing, and they started off writing blogs, and they started off with the Dreadwolf teaser and the Game Awards trailer back 2 years ago, and this is what the game's going in the direction, the game is still changing its direction. The game is pivoting through so many different stages, and the game doesn't know its full identity yet. And so marketing that, no wonder it's been a crazy thing, and they're only focusing on certain highlights of the game because they're still working out the ebb and flow of it. However, we should now be at a point where they can market it because it's fully playable, and they should have a large part of its assets and its game like developed. And so it should be, you should be at a point where you can market it. Like, okay, we've got Mamrathis, let's market around Tevinter, let's market around his characters, let's market around this gameplay feature, let's market around that. But because the game's gone through so many different pivots and development, and this isn't a thing anymore, and we're no longer playing as spies in Tevinter as Joplin was, and that art thing isn't going to happen anymore, and it's no longer multiplayer, it's now single player. What originally I assume was the original marketing strategy is just filtered into something else. Flogging a dead horse. Thank you. So my idea of marketing it would be market it when you know what the game is, when you have a good point to market, like what Bethesda do. Right, the game's coming out in 6 months. This is the game's finished. The game's in beta. We're polishing the game right now. But this is what the game. We know everything about the game. We know its identity. We know it's single player. We know it's an RPG. We know we're going to, for example, Fallout 4. We're going to Boston. You've got a voice protagonist. You've got these companions that are going to join your journey. You've got so much hours of content. You've got so many guns. X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. You market it at that point, and then you release it 6 months later. That would be my genuine way of marketing the game, because you've got the game to its full point of identity. You've got it to its beta stage. It's been testing. It's being polished. You're just working on the visuals and the other implementation of features. But it's to a point where basically, essentially, you know the majority of what the game's all about, and you can go on to market from there. However, for BioWare, they are in a very the thing about BioWare is they're doomed with their marketing. They're doomed if they do. They're doomed if they don't. If they don't talk about the game, it gets fans annoyed. If they do talk about the game, it gets fans annoyed because they reiterate the same points. And it's been that way since 2020, or even you could say 2018, where it's just marking the same plot points. Solas is in the next game. He's your antagonist. Varric's in the game. You're going to a new region of Thedas. You're going to Tevinter. You've got a new playable character. What else do we know about the game? Is there much more than that, really? You could assume from Tevinter Nights, and we can assume from other things. We've got new companions. Davrin. Is it Davrin and somebody else? Things like that. But like that's really, really it. So yeah, it's they what they need to do is just full on reveal significant information about the game at a point when it's ready. That's what they need to do. And it seems like it's ever getting closer to that, because I'm not like last year we got the codices, we got the fact that we are going to Tomb and Raphis, all those things. So yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky and long-winded thing, and you know, like it's different for every different department. It's different. Like the thing is, like BioWare has a different marketing team to how they had for Inquisition. Inquisition's marketing was so good. Like they had so much stuff. They had so many trailers, almost too much. YouTubers at the time said it was too much content to talk about. They had so much. It didn't spoil the game, but they knew so much about the game that it was too much. You know, they wanted a few things of surprises. Like they knew who all the companions were before the game and who you could romance, and that for them was a bit of too much of a spoiler. But that marketing team is no longer at BioWare. It's a different marketing team, so you're adapting to different marketing strategies, different things that EA want, a different team almost. So the way they're approaching it now, it's kind of just like a lukewarm. It's like, well, you know, these are things that you know about the game, and we're going to reiterate that for new fans too, because you know we're hardcore fans, but there are new things that fans who have never played Dragon Age are now hearing about. The fact that Solus is going to be in the game for the first time. I know somebody just put a joke. Solus is in the next game. What? But yeah, honestly, I do pity the marketers at BioWare, because it's a hard job. But once the game is in that stage, which apparently it is, it'll be fine. It will absolutely be fine. I agree, Mr. Hulton. If I see Solas being the focus point of the next piece of content, I'll pull my hair out. Unless it's something like serious, like, oh, this is Solas, and I don't know. No, I would actually like something new. Thank you, Serial McLeod. They said, just FYI, the last comic of The Missing on Amazon says it will be released on September 2023. So Dreadwolf definitely isn't releasing before the comic that leads into it. Very valid point, and also very, very true. Yeah. Do you think the comic might reveal too much? Do you think it might reveal too much on the comics? I've read all of them so far, except The Missing, but I'm worried all my friends who haven't are going to miss out on pivotal information. I mean, I want to say not much, but I also want to say yes, because I really want everybody to read the comics, because I think you should really absolutely support Nunzio de Philippus and Christina Weir, who did Knight Errant, Deception, Blue Wraith, and Dark Fortress. You're not missing out if you don't read them. You're not. You're going to miss out on a few plot points that might refer to the next game. I don't know. But no, you're not missing out overly. But you are missing out if you want more characters in the Dragon Age world to enjoy. You are missing out on some good stories. I don't want to spoil it, but returning characters, some good banter, just some good Dragon Age content. So in that regard, yeah, you are. But I feel like if you've gone into the next game and you haven't read Nunzio de Philippus, I haven't read The Missing myself yet. Apparently it's a prequel. So yeah, I think you probably do need to read The Missing. We're going to find out though in time. But I feel like you're doing a disservice if you don't read it. But again, though, for like casual fans who don't read it, you'll be fine. Like, you definitely will be fine. I want new characters. Yes, same. Did you know Solas is in the next game? I didn't. Who would have thunk? Who would have thought that Solas, the Dreadwolf, would be in Dragon Age Dreadwolf? Any other questions? We will continue for another half an hour, and then we will call it there. We've done everything that there is to know about the Dragon Age Dreadwolf in 2022. We've talked about our expectations for 2023. We've talked about the comics. I want to talk about Absolution, but I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it, and I haven't read The Missing just yet. So are there any other questions that you want to throw? We can talk about really anything now. If we want to talk about development, we can continue talking about development. I literally could talk about Dragon Age development for like years, because it has just been like not my identity on YouTube, but essentially my identity on YouTube. That leaker. Will Dragon Age keep being utilized? I hope so. That'd be really good. That'd be really fun. Let me check Twitter. What we got? Is there any fan art you want? Ooh, what fan art? Oh, I don't know. Fan art? Like somebody doing fan art for me? I don't know. Or like fan art that I'd like to see somebody do. Any hints from the devs on Dad? None. It's been fairly quiet, unfortunately. It's been fairly quiet. Yeah, that's why I've been wondering if I tagged you in on Twitter. Let me check Twitter. Toodaloo. Can't see anything popping up. Can we talk about the David Guetta post? Yes, we can talk about the David Guetta post. So let me get that up. Let's have a look. What would I do if BioWare inserted a parody character of me? I would laugh. That would be the best thing in the world. I would love that. And to make it even better, there's actually a character in Dragon Age already called the Jackdaw. Let me just get some water, sorry. But yeah, there's already a character in Dragon Age called the Jackdaw, and he actually like had a dalliance with Isabella at one point. If they put that character in the game and they like killed him off and he like had like a tinfoil hat over him, and then there was like a note like, this annoying man has been seen off ship. He will not stop talking about the next shipment of dragon eggs. Fortunately, an Antivan Crow has shipped him off and killed him. That'd be funny. You know, BioWare, kind of a self-insert kill this man joke. Obviously, they wouldn't do that to me, I don't think, but it'll be funny. Yeah, I will show you the codex of the Jackdaw. If I can find it. Let me find this tweet first. But yeah, no, there is a character called the Jackdaw in Dragon Age. Not much known about him, but he just kind of dallied off and had some sort of dalliance with Isabella. But yeah, it was fun. Ever considered interviewing the former BioWare devs? Yes, but you can't interview them now because if you want to get the juicy details, the game needs to be out. So I would love to interview them after the games came out, so I can talk more about the development process, things that went good, things that went wrong. Because if I interviewed them now, they would just talk about like Dragon Age Inquisition and what they did in Inquisition. If you interview them after the games come out, like that's what the Lands Meet's going to be at the moment. Like I haven't done a Lands Meet in like 10 months because I want it to be like post Dragon Age interview stuff. Because right now, like as much as I love talking to people and interviewing people, it is a lot of the same conversations, and that's fine. But I also don't want to like belittle people by giving you the same content over and over again. Whereas when the game is out, we can have a lot more interesting conversations with the developers and with fans alike about so many other things. Devs watching the stream takes notes. Oh no. Lol, Jackdaw looking for his tinfoil hat shipment on the docks in Antiva. Literally. And there's a blood stain because somebody smacked his... I don't know. I would hope Bio wouldn't want to kill me off if they put me in a game, but they might be sick of me. They might be annoyed about me. How about interviewing voice actors? That's also a good shout. That's a very good shout. Yes, definitely. Would love to. I just get shy about DMing them. No, I would love to. Yes. I will give myself a confidence boost and one day try to. I mean... We've interviewed Nunzio de Philippus and Christina Weir, and that was fantastic. That was so good. If you would like more insights about the comics, please check that interview out because it was just so fun. Like, I asked them serious questions, but also daft fun questions, like, what is their favourite Taylor Swift song? And it was fun. That is content that I do live for. So one day. Okay, so the tweet that everybody would like is David Guetta tweeted yesterday, I believe, and it was... going through my Dragon Age Inquisition files and came across the original plan for a playable post-credit epilogue, which, due to time constraints, eventually got scaled down to the post-credit cutscene you saw on release. A lot of the meat here was, I believe, Resurrected Trespasser. So, here we go. So this is the original post-credit epilogue. It's a bit pixelized, but it says, back in the base, Solas's room, Liliana... What does that say? Illithal's, I can't remember, something campsite. Illithal's campsite. The Delish clan. Therapin the Sentinels. Morrigan. Player Drank. Yes. Player Whispers. So, you know. Return to the Temple Elves. The Well of Sorrows. Return. Flemeth versus Solas. The heck was that? Player Drank. Yes. Flemeth commands the player confronting Solas. What the heck? And then player No, Flemeth commands Morrigan confronting Solas. Solas drains Flemeth. Player Drank. Player kills Flemeth. Solas departs. Wrap up. Player Drank. No. Morrigan kills Flemeth. Solas departs. Like, what the hell? Yeah, someone's campsite, basically. Look at that plot twist, though. So originally, if you drank from the Well of Sorrows, Flemeth would have had you confront Solas. Solas would drain Flemeth, and then if you drank, you'd kill Flemeth. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Like, what the hell? Okay, apparently we have a link to check on Reddit. So give me 2 seconds. There is somebody who is posting. So apparently Hexenkind mentioned this in the chat. We have a link to look at. Let's have a look, shall we? Thank you, Mr. Hulfin, for sending me this in DMs. So, okay, apparently somebody has been talking about this leak. Let's have a look. So, there are 100% skill trees. Answering the rest might lead back to me because I don't know who else has played what classes. Oh, we've got a bigger leak, folks. Okay. You misunderstood. I don't care to prove that I've played it. To be honest, I don't care if anybody else believes believes me either. So of course I'm not going to go out my way to prove it. That's why I'm saying if you or anyone else wants to it's a person, but I'm 100% comfortable. Oh, okay. Let's have a look. Where's the meat and potatoes? Let me go back to that previous one because that one looked better. So they're talking about the fact that they may have played it. So this person's apparently played the game. Let's continue just to read. Yep, they just don't. Yeah, multiplayer. I didn't experience it. Nor did I experience the hub world that was described. Although the portal thing is true, that's something I'm going to have to unfortunately choose not to answer. Somebody's asked him something. Okay, what did I ask them? I asked him. Okay, my question is, what were the companion characters you played with? Human, elf, male, female. That's something I'm not going to answer. It's high probability of leading back to me. If I theoretically played with elves and everyone else played with dwarves, EA would easily know who I am. You know what I mean. Okay, interesting. Is Celos confirmed? Potentially. So this is somebody who's playtested the game, apparently. Okay, what's this question say? How are the animations in both combat and cutscenes? I haven't played Bioware games since Inquisition, but the games before and after that had such laughable bad animations. I really hope they change that here. Combats are great, cutscenes are decent, but ever as far as Bioware is concerned, which should be a given, what's not great are the facial animations. Granted, the game isn't done yet and might be done far from, who knows, but as of right now, it's Andromeda 2.0. Oh, yikes. Oh, it's okay, Corypheus, don't worry about it, dude. It's all good. Funny animations I mentioned, they're done in how do you say that? I know it's a European city. Bucharest. By the same team who've done okay. Apparently, see, take all this with a grain of salt, because I don't want to believe Reddit leaks. I get it, like, somebody's playtested the game, and, you know, I feel like I'll properly look into this before I make my next video, but I don't know how I feel about stuff like this, because it's all leaked. But we're all going in with tinfoil hats. We're not necessarily believing any of it. Let's just go in with this tinfoil hat on. But yeah, I don't know. Andraste will help us all. Exactly, Nick. Exactly. So apparently the animations are outsourced. They're not going to answer that question because I don't want to be, you know. Okay, what's this question? If it means you're part of it. I wonder if that means your third party member is regularly tied to the mission. Okay. Now what I will say is I don't know how far I was into the game, so it's possible I'll eventually open up to 3D. Okay, so it's probably... Okay, anyway, this is the question. Sorry, I'm looking at what the questions are. I know the answers aren't there, but whatever. How are the hairs? Are the characters interesting? Okay, I'll probably just read this because I'm sure it'll be full sentences. Everyone's hair is great. Your character hair is decent. I didn't spend a significant enough time, I've told, to get to make their quirky, though. Apparently the quirky characters. I think the character designs are sick, but that's completely subjective. Does it feel like the lands were reasonable? Apparently they're stereotypical. The map feels like it came from Inquisition design-wise. I was dropped in and out of mission, so I don't know, but I will say a lot of the story elements from DA Origins, apparently. Same answer to that one. How was the music? Didn't really pay attention to the music. Did you get emotionally invested? I wouldn't say I had enough time with the characters to get emotionally invested. Is there a lot of eye-catchy visuals? Graphics are sufficient next gen for facial animations. They were the ones that stand out. Does it feel like entirely different from previous Dragon Age games? It feels the same but different. I know that's an incredibly BS non-answer, but it's true. It feels like 2023 BioWare, Dragon Age for better or for worse. Anybody expecting DAI2 will be disappointed. Okay. Would you say it's worth another 10-year wait? It'll probably be worth it in the sense that Dragon Age fans will find it passable. But at this point, keep in mind the game isn't done. It's nothing that feels like it took 10 years to make or anything, which is probably due to them reportedly restarting development multiple times. Yeah, I'm taking this with a grain of salt because I don't know. I really don't know how to feel. Yeah. The game still lacks features, but it's moved from its intended multiplayer components to a single experience. Yeah, again, this is just reiterating what the article said. Maybe 2024. Yeah, I don't know. This is on Reddit. Let me post. I'll post a link in the chat so you all can read it. I will put this here. Doo-doo-doo. I'll post it right in the chat. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't trust Reddit half the time, but I assume if this is the same source from I don't know. What do you folks feel about it? I don't know. I'm always wary about leaks anyway. Definitely something to mention. It's definitely something to be aware of. But yeah, it sounds more like a random user, where at least before we had like... Okay, I'm posting it now. There we go. There's the Reddit if you want to check it out for yourself. Whereas before, like with the source, at least we had Tom Henderson backing it and like these facts. But then somebody coming in and saying, yeah, I've played it and I can't... Like this I'm okay with because this is Tom Henderson who's reported it. But then somebody else coming in saying, oh yeah, I've played it and it's this. I don't trust that. And I'm not really going to report on that in the video because I don't know. If you want to check it out for yourself, you can in that link description. But I don't know. This blue stuff is fine. Other stuff in here, I don't know. Exactly, posting it on Reddit and yeah, I don't know. It just, I don't know. I don't like stuff like that. Like it's a bit. You never know. Well, I'll make a video on the leak and we'll talk about that next time, just so I can actually fully look at it, research it, look into things. But when you just hear somebody say, yeah, the hairstyles aren't great and the characters aren't I'm not emotionally attaching to them, and you're not gonna like it if you got like. I don't know. It's just somebody saying things. It's Reddit sus. Exactly. So we don't know. Have any other questions on Dragon Age, on content, on anything really? I'm starting to wrap up. I'm going to wrap up in about 10 minutes just because I've been streaming for almost 3 hours. But I just want to say that it's been really, really good to be back. Honestly, like getting back into the swing of things after just a 2-month absence because of being hacked and taking a break because of Christmas. Like, despite... talking about Dragon Age and what could be, what can't be, what is, what isn't. It's still super exciting about, the fact that the game is on the horizon still and we are getting closer. Objectively, we are hopefully getting closer to the next game. Mr. Hulthen, I trust the article. Yeah, I'm kind of unsure about the user. There's been a ton of people going around Starfield recently. Most of them been debunked. So yeah, I agree. Unknown territory. It's like, you want to believe it, you want to hear it. But I think at the end of the day, they're not really saying positive things, so you don't know. I'm off, glad you're black. See you around, and thank you for the work. Thank you so much, Davra Bark. I really, really appreciate that. They said they didn't listen to the music, and that makes me question it a lot. Yeah, I agree. Your voice is nice to listen to, Jack, and you're my favourite, and Dragon Age is my favourite game series ever. Thank you so much, Nizo Fox. And honestly, same here. Like, it's the entire reason I have just in the channel. Amapora, how you doing? Thank you. Thank you so much, Amapora. Yes. Meh, Reddit isn't reliable enough, in my opinion. Hopefully we get some actual official information soon. The Reddit leak seems very sus, as it seems to give info that they know people who would want to know seems targeted, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. And it's Reddit. And also, it's the Dragon Age subreddit. Like, you know, it's very sus. What are your significant story hopes? Ooh, I want the Titan plot point to be wrapped up because that was added in Inquisition's DLC. And I don't want it to be like a 2-game thing. I kind of want at least some answers to it. I want more dwarf content. I want to see Kal Sharok. I'd love to see Kal Sharok. Kal Sharok would be so fun. I want Dorian's father's murder to be answered. You know, thank you so much, Mr. Hulfan. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you so much, dude, for joining and giving memberships. Really, really appreciate it. Honestly, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to your next video too, dude. I need to watch your new video. But yeah, thank you so much, dude. Don't trust Reddit. I agree, Sophie Kuzland. I agree. As one Kuzland to another, do not trust Reddit. I think in terms of me this year, I really want to get more into streaming. I do have plans with streams with Lisa and Lambo. We're going to stream, as well as Dragon Age multiplayer, some other games too. Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out in August this year, which is so exciting. Like, despite, you know, whatever's going on with Dragon Age, Baldur's Gate has been a constant, positive, remaining, hopeful thing, which is just nice to have, as well as, you know, working on Dragon Age content. I do want to branch out too into other RPGs. That's ones that I like hyperfixate over, not just ones that I want to casually talk over. Like, I want to actually have one that I'm interested in. But, you know, I'm so excited for Baldur's Gate 3. I really do want to make a video on that too. Exactly, Lisa. Are we beginning to wonder if this is the last Bioware's last hurrah? Not beginning to wonder. I think Mass Effect still got hope too. I think Mass Effect's got more hope than Dragon Age, to be honest with you, because Bioware know that's the multi-million-dollar one. You know, Bioware know that Mass Effect, like Dragon Age, does very well for Bioware, massively. Obviously, it's incredible, crazy franchise. But Mass Effect is multi-million-dollar. Mass Effect could have an Amazon TV show of it. Mass Effect has already got a beautifully stunning CGI trailer. It's literally got the Guardians of the Galaxy and Deus Ex Machina narrative director hired for it. Like, end of the day, I think if Dragon Age doesn't do too well, Mass Effect's I think Bioware will have another shot of Mass Effect. I think that game is still going to be in the works regardless of what happens with Dragon Age. Now, I am not like, obviously I'm quite skeptical, but I'm not like massively negative about Bioware. But let's say Dragon Age, you know, I think Dragon Age will be great. I genuinely think Dreadwolf is going to be out of this world. Genuinely. I think that, you know, if it isn't, the next Mass Effect will still be fine. I think that development's going to be great. You know, so. Griffith says, thanks for the stream, by the way. Director on my yearly Dragon Age obsession right now. I also have Baldur's Gate. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, thank you so much, Griffith. Honestly, I appreciate you spending time just watching me stream for 3 hours talking about Dragon Age with a silly tinfoil hat on my head. Like, I really appreciate that. Luadar says, I'm glad you're back. Every time I see Dragon Age stuff, hop onto your channel to see what you've said to say about it. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Well, there is plenty more coming. I'm making a news video very soon. We're going to be talking about a lot more of that too. But no, thank you so much. Hopefully, we do get more news from BioWare themselves, because I don't like just talking about leaks. I actually want substantial content from BioWare that's official and confirmed. Hello, Jan. How you doing? Jana Ali, how you doing? I'm going to leave this as a VOD too, just for people who want to watch it, who are now catching up, because I know for me it's getting later in the day, but I know Americans, they are just waking up, and so obviously it's different time zones. But no, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. I really, really appreciate that. Anyway, about voice actors. Oh, thank you so much, Firepaul. I appreciate that. Yee, thank you. I know I've been gone for 2 months. I've got a lot to catch up on as well. I'm interested in the key narrative into conflict. It sounds like it's going to be fun. Fustercluck to be in. I agree, Nick. I absolutely agree. What else are we excited for this year? Oh, Emily, thank you so much for the wonderful stream and all my birthday wishes. This was so special. Oh, Emily, thank you so much for spending your birthday checking me out. I hope that you have a great rest of your birthday. Like, thank you so much. Like, a massive, massive happy birthday to you. Honestly, thank you. Good to see you, bro. Thank you, Dante. Appreciate it. I'm going to start to wrap up now, folks. So, yeah, I just want to, again, thank you all just for checking me out for this, you know, just for sending me so much support and warm wishes the past month. Like, I took a break because I went on holiday at the middle of December, and Absolution came out, and I was hanging out with my friends. And honestly, I wanted to get like this video that I'm doing right now with the everything we know about Dragon Age last year before the new year, but just timing and Christmas and the new year just didn't manage to do it. But I had it all fully written and I was getting it ready. And then start of this year, literally like 6 days in, hacked account was taken over by Elon Musk bots. And so I just honestly really appreciate like people who have reached out, who have just waited, got in contact and holded out hope that, like people who genuinely actually care and are like, oh, actually, like Jack's, like, are you okay? Are you okay? What's happened? Are you all right? Like genuinely, like that means so much that I'm not just like a blip on people's, subscription box. Actually, people do care about me, do check my channel regularly, and are interested in the content that I produce. Like, there's few things more that me as a young 24-year-old content creator that people genuinely actually care about the things I have to say and the content I have to produce. So thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart, just for the warm wishes, the support, and the excitement you have, regardless of the news. You're all excited for the community we have together, the content and the fun times that we're gonna have, and that we're gonna have when Dragon Age does come out. And even just talking about so many silly, rampant things that could happen in the Dragon Age universe, it's so fun, and we do have so many exciting things to be excited about. Because I genuinely think Dreadwolf will be a knockout of the park. I think it will be fantastic, and I think that yes, there are a lot of misconceptions and a few things that are going wrong, and I think that the talented team behind it are going to, pardon me, knock it out of the park. I think they're going to do a fantastic job. The team we have, there are so many people that we do see in the grand scale of how many there are. Like, there are over, 300, 500 developers on this game, and 20 of them have left. Like, there are so many talented people every single day, and just because we don't know who they are, we don't see them, or they don't have a social media presence, doesn't mean they're not hard working every single day to work on the next game, So despite the things that we do see online and the 5 or the 0.99% that we do see of what happens internally, there is another element to it that I'm sure is pumping away, working very, very hard to make the next game incredibly well. So yeah, I'm optimistic as per usual. I'm going to be working on a video on this leak stuff as soon as possible, really get that out. But all in all, for those who have watched this, you've probably seen a lot of the content anyway, but I just want to thank you all so much. And for those who have watched this archived and as a VOD later on down the line, just want to say thank you so much. And here's to an absolutely better, just a better journey of Dragon Age content and just content as a whole in 2023. I just wanted to say something quickly. So happy to have you back. I realised that the channel was a big part of my mental health journey in the time it was gone, so thank you for that. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Honestly, that means so much to me. For me, it's a mental health journey coming back. I got this back at the start in February, and I'm I've got it back. I've got my, an anchor in my life back, because it was out of control. And when things are out of control, how we have impulsive thoughts and things and feelings, and it's to have it back. It was I actually have something that I can control in my life, that being content, and that being something that is good and happy and brings me happiness just as much as other things. So yeah, thank you all so much. But I'm going to close out now. I really appreciate all the love and support. I hope you're all having an amazing day, night, wherever you are. I'd love to hear in the chat where you are currently watching this from. I always love to do this on the stream, but obviously I'm from England, but I'd love to know where you're all watching from, just to get an idea of the timelines, the time differences that you're all tuning in from. It blows my mind how many of you, actually tune in to watch my content from across the globe. Montana! Oh my goodness, amazing. Amazing. Oh my goodness, that's so cool. Florida, yeah. Turkey, oh my goodness. Russia, love it. Oh my goodness. Georgia, amazing. Denmark, Argentina, Sweden, Toronto, Ecuador, Wales, hey, Russia. Texas, Ohio, the state. Oh, Georgia, the state. Yeah, Georgia, Georgia, the state. Connecticut, Germany, Brazil, Quebec, Scotland. Hey, we need to talk about Solas. I love your name. We need to talk about Solas. Well, I am from obviously England, so I just want to say thank you all so much. But I'm going to close out, and UK Somerset. Oh, I love Somerset. Sorry, saw that one. I know I was closing out, but I love Somerset. Favorite place in the UK is Bath, Somerset. Love it. But anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. Really, really hope that you all have a great evening, afternoon, day. And yeah, we are back. Jack is back, and I'm working away on content. I'm literally going to finish right now. North Carolina. Emily, hope you have a fantastic rest of your birthday. But yeah, I'm going to be literally working on videos after I finish this. But yeah, hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all in the next one. But until then, I have been Jackdaw, and I should go. Woohoo! Woohoo! Whoa! Whoa!